Hey guys, I'm still getting myself situated here, so bear with me. I have like these new like lozenges for dry mouth, so I'm hoping that they work because my mouth gets very, very dry sitting up here and talking, you know. It's not like I don't talk in real life too. I definitely do. I don't know why this is different. I'll probably wait for a few more people to come in before I get into, hey, Liberty Farmer. I think you're the only person here. I keep pushing this back because I keep having, it's been a couple 48 hours, let me tell you. Yeah, I don't, it's definitely, it's been, hey, Roadie Gal, I was just thinking about you. I'm here. I mean, I'm more worried about how you're feeling with, with COVID and everything. I've just been in a weird place, and I think I've said that, and it's been like one thing after another. Now, I will say, and I know I'm going to get a lot of crap for this, and that's okay. Yeah, just when you think you can't get any crazier, oh my God, I know. Actually, I'm glad you're in here, Liberty, because I have a question that I don't know if you know the answer to, but I'm just genuinely curious. All right, yeah. So, hello, Earthbound Spirit. As you may notice, I do have, hey, Dorothy. And I am going to get a lot of crap for this. I do have my Venmo name on the bottom here. It is not because I want anybody to feel pressure to send me money in any way, shape, or form. It's because I don't have a community tab, and I can't share I have so my cat Chicory, who is on my profile right now, he needs a dental surgery, and he needs several teeth removed and some other work done. And we got the estimate, and it's almost $900. And I would never ask anybody to foot the bill at all, because I don't feel comfortable doing that. But I do have a GoFundMe going to kind of get a little bit going on, to help out with that, because that is a large amount of money for me to kind of shell out at one time, and they don't do payment plans. So that's why that's there, and I know I'm going to get crap for it. That's why I wanted a community tab, because I want to be able to be as transparent as possible. I don't want to be shady, none of that. Like, I want to make it very clear, like, if, where money goes. But that's there because I can't share a GoFundMe link because I don't have any mods and I don't know how. So yeah, I'm not going to justify it. Everybody literally, like, if you're monetized, people get super chats, and Natasha gets whatever, all of that. Right. I'm dead serious. Like, I know that people could probably come on here, and I mean, we know Natasha comes on here and bullshits, but I promise you that's what it is. I mean, Roadie Gal, I have shown her the receipts. And I don't, you know what? I'm not even going to justify it. I just feel uncomfortable even putting it. But it's there. Just so I can maybe have, yeah, guys, seriously, I still will like you just the same. I don't expect or require that. There's no pressure from me whatsoever. It will not change the way I treat anybody here. Because you guys being here is enough. The fact that people like and subscribe, that is enough for me, honestly. And I actually was going to go into that a little bit today about how I feel about monetization and kind of Natasha's take on all of that. What I did want to ask, though, because we are going to discuss this whole rogue mod thing. So I know, Liberty, I think you were still a mod at that. I know you were still a mod at that time. So a lot of people, there's a whole, like, kind of a conspiracy thing. I should do that, Dorothy. I'm going to figure out how to do that in a minute. Hey, Michelle. Hey, Mrs. Jersey Shore. Hello to everybody if I missed you when I'm ranting. Like, I can't do like 3 things at once. But I try. So there was that whole debacle with this, rogue mod during the Petito case, on her true crime channel. So there was a time where people, and I don't know how many people it was, but there were people that were, getting blocked. And I was one of those people. So I was blocked at least 4 times. Oh, I'm sure you do, Liberty. I'm sure you do. And I remember the first time I went, and I super chatted Natasha quite a bit of money, because as somebody who does freelance social media marketing and social media management. I know that, it's important. I like to give, creators money when I can, because that's that for a lot of people, that's an income. And if I appreciate, I want, for lack of a better word, the art that they put out, I want to pay for it, if that makes sense. Cause yeah, I know you were, Irvin. I remember that. And I'm not going to be mad. I mean, whoever it was, I mean, nobody's right. I don't think anybody's going to ever tell me who it was, but there was somebody blocking people, because I was blocked at least 4 times. And there's no way she would have blocked me. Because the first time the way I realized it is because I couldn't super chat and nobody was responding to me. And the first time it happened, like I said, when I found Natasha during the Petito case, I was in a really, really weird place, like emotionally. And I got really angry, because I was like, are you serious? Like, I give you money and you go and block me for no reason whatsoever? Because I've never been blocked from a community. I've never said anything that's gotten me blocked anywhere. Like, I'm generally a very polite person. And I was like, I kind of was really, I actually texted Natasha. And I was like, dude, like, what is going on? And she was like, well, I don't know what's going on. But then it continued happening. Hey, Alexis. When she started the recent. Yeah. Oh, you think it was a bot? I mean, that's why I'm asking your opinion. Because all I know is, hey, Audrey, somebody blocked me at least 4 times. But the reason, and Natasha said, because I bought into it at the time, she said that it was people who supported her and, super chatted her a lot. And I believe that. But you want to know what leads me to believe that maybe it could have been a bot? Is because there was one time during her Recline channel when it happened to me for like the 4th time. So I texted her and I said, hey, Natasha, I know that you're live right now. I just want to let you know that, I've been blocked again. And I just, don't pause your live. Like, I don't need you to do anything right now. I can still listen, but I just want to let you know. And as soon as I sent that text, she looks up from her phone and she goes, oh my God, I have just received so many texts saying that people have been blocked. And I'm like, or else you received a bunch of texts like as mine came in. Like, I feel like you're just exaggerating. And that, that's what I think at this point, because I was like, that was weird. And at the time, like, I kind of like, registered it in the back of my brain that I'm like, that was weird. But yeah, she does like to create drama. So I was just curious, because I'm like, there has to be a rogue mod. But if bots can do that, then I can go with that too. Because I mean, I would hope that people wouldn't screw with people's channels, but it does happen. That's the whole part of this. She wanted drama the other day. Really? Yeah. She's like, any little thing that she can find that can get her drama is she's grasping at it at this point. And I think that people are getting tired of it. I really do. Because every time you go on there, it's like a new like, how many times, like, I know that we talk about the money a lot and stuff. And, like I've said, if you are on YouTube and I think, you reach those milestones that you have to get monetized, I don't think there's any issue with that. I don't see why, like, she likes to put that stigma on it. Like, people that, get monetized are just doing it for, whatever. Of course you want to get monetized. YouTube is a greedy, giant conglomerate. Like, if they want to pay me like a teeny tiny bit from AdSense, I'll take it. I'll take it. But in no way would I ever pressure people to donate to countless funds that have no purpose except to, raise me money, or, pressure people to super chat. She had multiple mod chats. Yes, I actually suspected that, Liberty. She seems like somebody who is the queen of triangulation. Yep. And I can see that dynamics. I was never even a part of it, and I can kind of see that dynamic at work. She does seem to like to pit people against each other, just like, yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. I think that, you were a mod at that time. So, I mean, and you have no reason to like, not say anything at this point. So if you believe that it was a bot, then hey, Jax. Right. She's so unbothered, but yet, every chance that she gets, she mentions you guys. And it's like, enough is enough, dude. Like, I hate that like instant devaluing of somebody just because like they've upset her. And it's what disturbs me the most is how fast the chat turns. Why your name though? Maybe but oh, yeah, see, I don't know that. I'm still new to all this, so with everything going on, like with other channels and stuff, I don't know the ins and outs of that. All I can speak to personally is like things that I've experienced myself, or people have come to me, mentioning, or my own experience running a really large Instagram account. Um, but yeah, what creeps me out, and it's creepy, it's disturbing, is that one day everybody's in there supporting you, and like they're there 100%. But the minute Natasha like devalues you, it's like boom, like everybody is suddenly against you, and they never liked you, and all of this crap, and they believe every single lie. And it drives me nuts. It drives me nuts because I hate that in any chat. Like, there's a difference between me not like leaving Natasha's not because I was a victim, but because I felt uncomfortable with the way she was treating people. And, there's a difference between that and, people like, because I don't blame people for how what am I trying to say? So, like, what I'm saying is that if a lot of people like internalize, she is though, Jax. I agree. And if somebody hurts her, she has this way of making the chat feel like that person has hurt them directly as well. Hey, Lorianne. And I find it disturbing because then people are like, they internalize it and they're like, oh, well, these people are coming after me. When like, I don't even know who that person is. And like I said, though, I mean, there is a difference. Like, I know that, her retort to that would be that I say that I was not like, she did nothing to me personally, but I left because I was uncomfortable. I think there's a difference between that and like, the lines that she's crossed recently, especially. And I'm glad I left when I did, because it's just gotten worse. It's just gotten worse. And but yeah, but I mean, I was going to touch on kind of the Natasha situation, but I mean, I really do think that people are seeing it more and more. Because like, there's only so many times somebody can put up, a really ridiculous, like, have they pissed off the quote unquote haters enough yet? I mean, I'm not pissed off about it. She's just making herself look bad, in my opinion. And I think that some people are starting to see that. I've seen some people start to question things going on and getting shut down immediately. Right. She says she hasn't changed. Yeah. And that's the thing. When I first I actually didn't care for Natasha when I first found her. I'm going to be honest. But, she wasn't even, that was just because I just didn't care for, what she was talking about. So it had nothing to do with her behavior at that time. Yeah. Right. Exactly, Jax. Like she has these friends, but they're not her friends. It makes no sense. And there are a lot of behind the scenes stuff. And like, I can tell you guys that, like, hands down, as somebody who, was taken off of Instagram, I was almost at 129,000 followers, because of behind the scenes nonsense, that I did not deserve. But, could I have done some things differently? Sure, probably. Like I said, I didn't like the person I became once I started, like, I let it go to my head. This was years ago. But, yeah, there's definitely behind the scenes stuff. And it's like, certain people will be privy to certain things. It's insane. So I don't want, like, I hate it when anybody says that they don't participate. She has declined, Lorianne, exactly. Because just because I don't speak on things that I have heard or seen doesn't mean that I don't know. I want to put that out there. Don't think that people haven't come to me and said, so-and-so has mentioned you here. I just don't care. I just don't, because as it stands, like, it's not affecting what I'm doing. If they want to say things about me, that's on them. But it's very real, and people, like, at the drop of a dime. And it's like, I don't, is this, okay, my AirPods are still working. And it's nuts. So, I mean, a lot of subscribers who haven't done this, they don't really realize quite the extent of the behind the scenes stuff. She really has changed drastically. I didn't know her in her Facebook days. In fact, like I actually just watched a lot of her Facebook videos because I had never seen them. And the difference is insane. It really is. Even her accent has become more like pronounced. It's like almost like she studies politicians talking and like has adopted that style and like cadence for herself. Cause she seemed like she did it's not even the same person. There's like little hints here and there of the same behaviors, like, but that wasn't like in her entire life. And it didn't seem like people were doing these things to her, even over like the summer. Like, you know, she had falling outs with people. But it was never like this. And it never was really like people who were super close to her, as far as I know. Hey, SA. But I could be wrong. Because I wasn't really like, you know, how do I put this? I wasn't like, you know, on top of I wasn't like watching everything that she did. I didn't start kind of going through any of her old stuff either until recently, because I thought, you know, I want to look through her, like all of her new stuff, you know, all of her old videos with, you know, the new eyes that I have now, because, you know, in hindsight, some of the stuff that I was seeing that, you know, didn't bother me before, it, you know, now that I'm seeing it for what it is, it's disturbing, and it has gotten worse. Yeah, they never meant anything to me. Exactly. Yeah, you know, Almost Famous. I mean, I don't know about taken down. I'm really hesitant to say that, only because I don't want anybody to be taken down, or else they're like, I don't know. But Natasha, she toes the line of, you know, I'm just not comfortable with the behaviors. Like, if she wants to go back to doing what she used to do, and like, because everybody makes mistakes. Like every creator is going to have a bad day, and they're going to say some crap that they don't do. Like, yeah, I know. I know that some people do feel that way, and you're entitled to feel that way. I'm not telling you you're wrong. I'm just saying for me personally. Hey, Natasha Victim. Yeah, I didn't really like get involved in like watching her a lot until the Petito case, and then I was watching it constantly because I really liked the community. Like, I liked the people. Oh my god, my mouth gets so dry. I'm gonna go through this whole bag, but at least these taste good. Oh, I don't like orange. Hold on. Right, that's the thing. She claims it's her business, but she doesn't run it like a business. And I know you've mentioned something like that, Liberty. Like, she has no like routine to it. There's no structure to it. And right, and everything's like, she has this endless, it's almost like, you know, she's running a Walmart with like an endless rotation of warm bodies, because like nobody can stay there for very long. And that was the thing, though. I mean, I was under the impression, like, she always spoke about you, Jax, as though you were a good friend of hers. That was always the impression I got, and how she spoke of you. So when she started, I mean, I expected her to kind of do that. I expected her to kind of, you know, devalue everything, but like, you know, it's crazy. And I mean, I can imagine it's kind of hurtful too. I mean, I would be, I'd be like, dude, what the heck? Like, you know, I've gone to bat for you multiple times, like to my own, you know, to the point where people have come at me, and here you go. Yeah, she put zero effort. Exactly. And I'm going to say, like, that was, I'm so, I don't like stepping on toes. I don't like, but that's a thing. And I wanted to say this, but I was afraid maybe other people would take it personally, but I'm speaking about Natasha. How is she a creator? What is she creating? You know, when I think of creating, like, at least with the true crime, it was kind of putting something together. But I'm speaking about her Recline channel. Like, hey, hashtag, I don't see, like, you know, the amount of time it takes me to make videos, and anybody who's familiar with making videos, it takes a lot, even for those like short ones, a lot of the time. Yeah, Audrey, I agree with you. Yep, she does. Well, she does create havoc, that's for sure. And I just don't see any like business. Like, I don't know what she's creating except drama. Exactly. So I guess she is a creator. I'm sorry. I will retract my words. I can't think of anybody else who has 3 monetized channels. No. And those can't all be under her name either. So it makes me wonder who else is putting, you know, their, you know, any hope of them ever having a channel on the line. for her. And I feel really bad for the people who do. Because eventually, nothing with her ever seems to end well. And I mean, I guess maybe some people like will never want to have a channel. So, I mean, yeah, you always did, Jax. I know you did. And it really though, it's like, all of a sudden nobody ever does anything for her. And, but it's like, I have literally seen so many people, even subscribers defend you. And then for you to say that nobody does anything for you, I don't like that. If that was me, that I had gone out of my way to like defend you, I wouldn't like that at all. I'd be like, is that not enough for you? What do I have to do? Like pay you a bunch of money? Like, and even then, right. She just and Natasha Victim, the thing about that, and I need to learn how to highlight comments. I'm going to, it's not that I don't like your guys' comments. I literally have no idea what I'm doing. But yeah, the thing about it though, is that, on YouTube, that seems to be a, there's a way. I mean, a lot of people make money doing really dumb things on the internet. And I used to be like kind of bitter about that. Especially with like TikTok and stuff, but like, whatever. I don't, congratulations. Good for them. I could never, I'm not even on TikTok. But yeah, I mean, I'm glad that people are starting to, and when you go in there in the chat, it's all names that I've never seen before, like ever. Oh my God, my watch keeps telling me to move and I'm offended. I'm like, I have moved today. Yeah. And then when she went, hey, Nat. So when she can't, she always, and you can always tell, like when she's doing the sad fishing, and she always like will look at the chat. And if she's not getting like any super chats or like, attention from it, she'll usually like either like, invite people up on panel and she'll just stop, or she'll just get off of the stream itself. And a lot of the time, the only talent that I see is from the people on her panel. And they like a lot of the time, like when she has no content or nothing to talk about, they're the ones who keep the show going and do stuff. She's always on her phone, probably playing like mobile gambling games or stalking other people or, whatever. Sky's the limit. She could be doing anything. But yeah, I saw that. I know a lot of people have seen like behaviors and stuff, but I'm going to be honest. There's a lot of things that I have not seen personally. It's not that I don't believe people when they tell me. And it's not that I won't, kind of think a certain way about that. But if I don't see it myself, I'm not familiar with all the history of people here on YouTube at all. So I'm kind of going at this with like, kind of for myself. So I just want to make that very clear. Like I know I have heard some things about things that some people have said that I have not seen, but I believe it. Let's see. Right. That's what happened to me, Jax. And I'm glad that like you saw that because, I think that, once you see that and if you continue, especially for the mods, like I can imagine that a lot of the time when you're a mod for her, you have to carry out some things that you might not personally agree with. And I can see that happening quite frequently. That goes against what you would personally do, but it's not anything horrible. You know what I mean? Like, because she has her set of, because every creator has like what they tolerate and what they don't. And everyone has their own way of doing things, which is their right. And mods kind of have to, it's on the, so she probably has things like that, she would get mad if you didn't do, that you're like, that doesn't make sense to me. But it comes to a point where like you're seeing all this stuff. And if you stand by it, in my opinion, it's almost like you're participating in it as far as I'm concerned in that, especially like when you've been there for a long time. And I'm glad that anybody who leaves, like it takes people different amounts of time to kind of open their eyes. And a lot of the time she'll go through these cycles, especially like not so much this last time, but prior, she would go through these like periods where she would be and nice, and I'm using that word really freely, but I'm using like hand gesture quotes, nice. So there would be times that people would come on, like from the Petito case, and they hadn't seen that behavior with her yet. So in their eyes, you know, yes, we all are crazy. You know, I think a lot of us are from a lot of us came from Natasha. And I think a lot of us really liked the community that we found there. Not necessarily her per se. She is manipulative, Barb. I totally agree. All the mods. Yeah. Recline changed everything. You know what? I couldn't have put that more perfectly myself, and I'm not even like privy to all of. Yeah, yeah. Nat is good peeps. Um, I agree with you there. I thought it was funny when she started. Yeah, you know, and even I did some, and I apologize to Carolyn because even I got caught up in some of the stuff and was, you know, yeah, a lot of the stuff was. I apologize because even I did some stuff I wasn't, you know, proud of, and I was horrified because there was that video that I guess, you know, she was like frantically really upset, and I mean I can understand that, but, you know, if my son passed away, I can't even imagine that, you know, but I I don't know. I don't think I said anything mean per se, but I think at one point in that video, and it wasn't the part that I might have put like an emoji that was inappropriate, and I feel terrible for it, but I own it, you know. And I'm trying to do like a self inventory. I was like, why would I do that? That's so out of character for me. And it's like I got caught up, and it's not an excuse. And I need to be more aware of like what's going on, and to make sure that that doesn't happen again. Because I don't even know how she got her hooks in me. Like, I'm not that kind of person, and neither are a lot of people that I've found. I'm trying to keep up with everybody here. Like I said, super ADD. So for me to do like 85 things at once, which is kind of like in my head what I'm doing. Right. She did say she was only going to do drama twice a week. And it's interesting that she said that, because that's actually, you know, for people to do the, like actually do social media for a living. There's this thing called, there's different ratios, but I like to go with the 30-20. Which is basically, you know, you stay on the topic that, you know, is popular and that people want to hear about. You do that 3 times a week, you know, for 2 times, or you could do percentages, but I do days of the week, you know, for 2 days a week, you kind of like, you know, put your foot out into a different genre or a different topic, just to kind of see the audience's reaction, engage like, you know, what they like and what they don't, and try and like move on to something different. And then 2 days off, because it's really good to get off of social media for a little bit. Like if you're a creator, like take a day off here and there, honestly. Yeah, no, I agree, Jax. I mean, it's crazy. Like I mean, what she did this morning. What did she do this morning? Oh, okay. I do know what you mean. I think I do. Let's see. Right, she's done drama every day, and how many times have we heard her say, I'm not going to get involved with this anymore. I'm not going to let it bother me. I'm not going to do that. But then it's like, you know, she just, and now she like wonders why like all of this happens to her. Now you know, to be fair, are there people that go after her and are inappropriate towards her? Yes, there definitely are. But a lot of those people feel really hurt by her. And what she doesn't seem to understand is her behaviors have effects on other people. And a lot of the time people react, and she like, you know, acts like she's done nothing wrong, and she never takes accountability for anything. And I hate that, because, you know, you have to understand that like everybody's human. And sometimes there's going to be people who are going to react a way that they're not proud of at all. Oh yeah, okay. I did watch that. And I didn't even like, you know, when I was watching that video, like my jaw was kind of on the ground. I don't really want to talk about that creator, because that's not where I want to take this chat or anything like that, because I just don't. That's, you know, I'm talking about Natasha, but I was like, oh my God, is this real? And then I realized what it was about, and I was like, oh, okay, like that's I don't know. Like, had it been like a skit that was like on TikTok or something that didn't have like, I didn't know the context of, I would probably think it was funny. But because you know the context of it, and you know what they were talking about, that takes away anything that's funny about it. But but I don't control what goes on other people's channels. I can just say things about it if I feel the need. Yeah, I don't think she's taken accountability once. And that one time that I have heard her take really taken accountability was with that creator's channel. But I always believe that there is something, if she does it, it's because there's something in it for her. I don't think she does anything because, she thinks it's even though she said because it was the right thing to do. I don't believe that. I mean, I could be wrong, but I feel like everything that she does is very calculated most of the time. I think she does lose control sometimes, and that's when that mask slips. And I posted some videos about that recently. And I was told, they were like, well, you take things out of context. Well, no. See, I will gladly tell you what video to go watch, and I can tell you exactly what set her off. And it is a touchy subject because I understand getting upset if children are brought into it. I get that. And I would never want, I don't agree with that. I don't agree with bringing anyone's child into anything. I don't agree with going to their channel and leaving comments. See, the thing about that, though, is that I have some and I might get crap for saying this, but I have some serious suspicions about the validity of these texts and these comments because a lot of the time I either haven't seen anybody behave or speak like that ever, like even in chats that were like ruthlessly bashing her. And some of them are just like perfectly curated hate. And I don't know why anybody would go to her daughter's channel, although there are some very unhinged people on here. I mean, we know that. But like, I don't agree with it, but I don't know. I don't know exactly like what she was referring to. She was referring to a lot of creators in that video. She went down a whole list, but she was mad. And I would get mad too, but at the same time, like, all I could think of, and I kind of felt bad for thinking it because I do feel bad about, a lot of things sometimes, but she was like, you don't know what my family gets put through. Well, oh, I can get rid of this person. Now that I know how to get rid of bots or whatever those are. Oh, why didn't it go away? Oh, no. If I just blocked somebody, I should. Oh, no. Okay, if I just blocked somebody that I shouldn't have, I really apologize. I don't think I did. No, I didn't. Okay. I'm still getting the hang of this. Last thing I would want to do is block an actual person. But yeah, I agree. I think that a lot of things have, that's what people like, your average sub doesn't necessarily know, is that there are behind the scenes things. And even between creators that you think don't like each other, not always, some of the stuff is like legit, legit stuff. But there are sometimes, and I mean, I don't want to call her MRB. Carolyn mentioned something about a script. And now, while I don't think that there was like, to the extent of that, there are like scripted dramas and like feuds and yeah, to create more drama. I agree. Well, that I definitely agree. The text in the comments. And I really hope that she's not doing that to her own daughter, because that would be awful. And I actually really like the book that Hannah, I have no issue with that. So as far as I'm concerned, I leave kids out of it. And she's doing like a book club channel, and the book that she's doing is actually a really good book. So, more power to her. And until I have proof that somebody's involved in something, I don't involve that. But yeah, that's the thing. But then I was like going through like other videos, and I'm like, this happens a lot. Like, and she'll mention that specifically, like them leaving comments on her channel, but it's like a cycle. And I don't want to say that she's lying about that, but at the same time, it's like, if you place it on a timeline comparatively to like, prior timeline, it matches up. She's got a routine going. Yeah. Like, that's what I'm trying to say, is that, I actually, I subscribe to Hannah's channel. I do that because, I think she's doing a great job with her book club. She does her cooking videos. She's not bothering anybody. And until like, somebody, she does something that is awful, then nothing's going to change my mind on that. It's not her fault. She's related to Natasha Cooper. I don't want that to have anything to do with her. Judge people on like what their channels have. But yeah, like I said, she has the book that she's doing is actually a really good book. So that's just my opinion. Nobody has to agree with me. What I do want people to do is to leave her alone. If you want to go after Natasha, my God, where's the red? I want a red lozenge. I don't like purple. I don't like. Okay, sorry. But yeah, I mean, if you want to go after a creator, I think coming up here as a creator kind of puts a target on your back. Right. I agree with you, Almost Famous. Right. She is an adult. Right. But she hasn't. Yeah. But I don't think, she hasn't done. Yeah. No, I agree. And I totally agree. And that's the thing. Like I have a lot of opinions on like the inner workings of YouTube, and I want to get to those at some point. Just because I just think like sometimes things need to be like laid out there. Like I was talking about the monetization, like, you're like, she makes it sound like people here just want to get monetized. And, that's not the truth. Like, I'm not on here. I don't get super chats. I don't, that's not why I'm here. Am I here to build a channel? Like, obviously people come on here. They don't want to talk to themselves. They're here because they have something to say. And, it's nice to have an audience and positive feedback. Absolutely. And if I ever get to 1,000, which, who knows? Right now, I just want a community tab. That's all I really want at this point. Obviously, people are going to monetize, because why not? And there's a difference between, being on YouTube and, maybe receiving super chats, but you're not like mentioning it, and what she does. There's a big difference. And if people want to give me crap and say that I'm a hypocrite, I'll own it. Whatever. I'm not doing what she does, so I have nothing to apologize for. But that was really funny. When one of the comments I received was that, I sit on here and talk for hours and hours, and they looked at the chat replay and nobody super chats me, and I'm like, I'm not monetized, so that point doesn't make sense. But thank you, nice try, have a great day. Right. She shouldn't never talk about other people, and she always says people are obsessed with money. But the difference is, and I put out a video about this, not everybody values those types of things. As far as I'm concerned, I have a roof over my head, enough food for myself and my family. I have clothes on my back. I have a job I enjoy. I have a family and friends who love and care about me. Like, what else do I need? That's all I need to be happy. I'm not jealous of her money. Is money helpful at certain points? Like, right. Like, for instance, if you have like something happen in your life where, it's a big chunk of change, and, maybe you need a little help with things. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. That's what crowdsource funding was created to do. Hey, Renee. But at the same time, she makes it sound like, all a lot of people care about is money, and we're jealous of her money. I'm not jealous of any of that. Like, I'm not even going to continue justifying it, but I just find it silly because not everybody values the same things. A lot of people, yeah. I do need a recliner, SI, because I'm sitting in a dining room chair table that is older than I am. It was my parents' old dining room table that has like all, years and years of homework. Like, because, if you had the paper with the pencil etched into it, so you can see like homework assignments from like the 90s and like in there, but it's really uncomfortable. I put a pillow, but it still sucks. I have a hard time sitting for a long time too, because I have a lot of spine issues, and I have a really difficult time sitting for long periods of time. She says urgency, right? Yep. And there's a psychology behind that, Liberty, and I think a lot of people notice that, and a lot of people see that is that, she might not directly say, "Give me all your money," but the way she says things and the way she formats stuff is manipulative. And anybody who has like any background in that kind of stuff, or, has, had a manipulative person in their life, it becomes obvious. She does make people feel like either sorry for her or like they need to send money. And I see it. And do people say that, YouTube creates the whole super chat sharing thing for a reason? Like, that thing starts flashing. It's supposed to encourage people to give. Right, exactly. Values and morals, like, they can't be bought. I mean, does money help? Does money make things a little bit easier sometimes? Absolutely. But, at the same time, if I lost everything that I have now and I still had like, my family and my friends and, just that alone, that's enough for me. Like, I'll adapt. I mean, if I lose my house, I'll adapt. I'll figure it out. You know, what's important to me is just having connection. But that's not everybody. Some people do value material things, and there's nothing wrong with that. I want to make that clear. It's just when you kind of flaunt it and do it in that kind of way. I mean, it's okay if you value having nice stuff. Like, there's nothing wrong with that. I like having nice stuff sometimes. Hold on. Let's see. Right. Thanks for the PayPal donation. Really? See, I don't know how PayPal really works. I have a PayPal, but it's like to pay for things. So I'm not really sure how the donations thing works. I don't even have a Cash App. I do have a Venmo, which I've never used to. I've received money on, like, before I've, probably like very, very few times. And it was like for like watering my neighbor's plants for the summer. Yeah, she does try to get that money train going. Yep. And she doesn't get money like she did before. She absolutely doesn't. And you can actually kind of see that on her social blade, which I take a peek at sometimes because, like, I like looking at analytics because it kind of paints a bigger picture for me. Yeah. And she's even said that she's never struggled and she's never not been able to, provide like a Christmas for her family. And, I also, come from a place of privilege. I've been through a lot of crap in my life. Like but there's a difference between that. Like, I've had a rough life, and a lot of the time it was because, like, I don't like accepting help. So there have been times when I've, not had a whole lot of money, but that was because, but I come from a place of privilege, and, when push comes to shove, I do. So, I don't understand why she does that. Like, if you've never experienced that, but people are like, suggesting that maybe you're pushing a little too hard on that, I would immediately be like, oh, okay. Like, I would be like, no. Yeah, she did lose another. She did. She dipped below the 9.8. She was at, I think she was at, like, or 8.9 at one point, but she's dipped a bit. Yeah. No, confident people do not act like her and act like, they need to take other people down and discredit them in order to keep their, whatever they have going. Like, her worst nightmare is that, like, people will like them better than her. She hates it. When someone's on panel and they say, yeah, Natasha, are you there? No, that's what I'm saying. Like, if she doesn't have anything planned, a lot of the time it's the people that go on her panel. She has some really talented people go up on her panel, of all sorts of different things. There are people up there that do a lot of things or are just really personable at talking. She's not doing anything. Half the time she's not even on her camera. When she is, she's looking at her phone. You can tell that she has low self-esteem. Sure, I definitely see that. But, that's the thing. Like, so I was bullied like badly. And my confidence really lacked for years and years. And I've just kind of, in the past couple of years, actually, ever since my accident, started working on myself to try and, like, get myself to a place where I'm happy with who I am. And I've done that. I make mistakes just like everybody else, but at the same time, like, I'm able to, when I get off YouTube, for the most part, I am able to, not think about it. There are some things that make me mad. Yeah. But, half the time you're not going to hear about it because it's not worth it. Right. With the true crime channel, I'm trying to read all the time. There wasn't anybody else. She didn't even use StreamYard. Yeah. Right. And I mean, I think that's when she was more authentic, but and I don't think it's, I don't think it's unique to her though. Like, when creators, and I had this happen with me too, when my Instagram blew up, because I happened to hop on Instagram right when the algorithm was really favorable to building accounts. I don't think I could ever do what I did again. I actually know for a fact I couldn't do it again. I just got very lucky. I got on at the right time. But yeah, like, when I started getting a whole bunch of followers, I did let it go to my head, and I had this sense of, like, importance, and I just acted like I didn't act right. I forgot where I had come from. I was treating people poorly, and I paid for it dearly. I don't mean by treating people poorly, but I was getting upset about things that really weren't a big deal. Yeah. And, she's just always, and if I was a subscriber and I was giving her money, like, what I give money to creators, I give it to them because you know, a lot of them, this is how they make their living. And she said that's how she makes her living. And you know, and maybe some of the creators I give money to spend it on crap. I mean, that you know, that could happen. But you know, but they don't throw it in people's faces. You know, they're not opening up these Amazon and subscription boxes. Like every single one, like I said, she probably subscribes to BarkBox and she doesn't even have a dog just because she can. And if I saw my money going, you know, to something like that, I wouldn't like that, because I want to give money to somebody who needs it. Like, I would rather give that money to somebody who is, you know what I mean? Like, if people do that and I don't know about it, whatever, like, I can't control that. But to do that in front of people constantly with these Amazon boxes, there was one video where, like, it's really old. You could see the piles of boxes, like empty Amazon boxes of just everything. And I think it's like an addictive behavior. I really, really do. I think for her, shopping lights up those same dopamine receptors as gambling. I think the two are related. Doesn't make what she does right, but you know, she does have a very telling traits. I agree. Hashtag. You know, I agree. She is like the kid on the playground that's bullied. Right. Yep. And yeah, I mean, I haven't known her whole life, but it's, hey, Amanda, I'm glad you can make it. It does seem like she has this long history of this kind of behavior. But I think that, I mean, if you guys go, and there are some creators who have archived all of like her older stuff, especially from Facebook. I'm trying to remember the name of the channel. I saw it on People of Social Media. Great channel. If I could drop links, I would, but I need to get some mods, guys. So my email is in my about section. If anybody is interested in that, I know a couple people have said they are. Feel free to shoot me an email, because I'm going to get that set up very, very soon. She is, yeah, you know, there's always going to be something psychologically going on with that person that kind of, you know, leads them down that path. Right? She spent, that's what bothers me, Jax, really, though, because she's facilitating this nice thing for families for Christmas. And I think, you know, if that happened, and it seems like people actually did get gifts. Now, whether it's that people were putting like pressure on her to do it or what, I don't really know. But I do think some families got gifts. I mean, it was her subscribers that were mostly paying for that. However, she did facilitate it with her platform, I guess. So I have to give credit where credit is due. However, you know, she's spending that time in between getting these huge deliveries of just crap that she doesn't need. And I mean, but like, and it's not that, like, you know, I care what she spends her money on. It's just when you're doing something like that, and you've seen in the chat how many people in your community need help and are struggling. I just think, like, you know, read the room. I don't know. And, you know, that was the first thing a lot of her subscribers said. They were like, well, there's so many people in our community that are struggling. You know, why would you put somebody else's GoFundMe? And, you know, I was just like, my mouth kind of dropped. And I'm like, well, if there's a lot of like hurt and suffering going on in your community, Natasha Cooper sure isn't doing anything about it. You know, it blew my mind. It's not in my about section. It should be. It's B+44 at Gmail. So yeah, I created it just for this, which is why it's nuts. And, you know, Jax, I do think you did a good thing, because, you know, it just shows that you care about other people. And when she was talking about it the way she was just making herself look awful. That, you know, she was really getting upset that you did something kind for somebody else. Like, and she was getting bent out of shape. I don't know about truth bombs, Bren, but I mean, I'm just saying, this is my opinion. Let's see. Yeah, you know, I think that's true, because I think that Jax, I think she wanted to be like, you know, look at this good that I'm doing. Please ignore this, you know, really awful thing that I just did. And I mean, I've had some theories about what's going on with that 20K. And at this point, I don't know. All I know is that I found a video where she said that, you know, nobody has enough money in the world, or else they're a multimillionaire to take anybody down, or else it's like one specific person. And let's be honest, who could that person possibly be? Because I can't put my finger on who exactly she would choose out of, you know, the array. And I don't really think anything anybody is particularly doing would be really that, you know, nothing that YouTube, I don't know. It's really hard to hold people accountable on YouTube. It is. I'm sorry. I've noticed that there's a lot of people who, get away with saying some really horrific things and doing horrific things, and it's like you can't get rid of them. They'll just pop up again. Let's see. Right, the trial, exactly, Almost Famous. I agree. And I was like, if the first time it happened, I did feel a little bit bad. I was like, this is kind of sad. Like, clearly there's something going on, with him that's like, making it so he's gonna, I felt bad. But then, like, it's happened over and over and over and over again. And it's like, I never blame a victim. But at the same time, sometimes there's nothing anybody can do for somebody until they want to do something for themselves. And it looks like more and more people, a lot of people don't believe that there's a lawyer. And that's what I'm saying. Like, there's like no circumstance aside from like suing for medical damages that it wouldn't matter what she did, in return. I think like in some cases it wouldn't matter what other people were doing if it was like affecting her health, but I'm not a lawyer. I don't know. I have no idea. I just have like my own, what goes on in my own head. And if she really did raise that under false pretenses like that's a big deal. And I mean, but the problem though is that, I think like when her subs come on and say that they don't care, I think a lot of them really don't care. And that, that's fine. But she always says it's not anybody's business who didn't donate. But that's the problem though, Natasha. A lot of people who did donate are asking you and you still don't answer them. So is it not their business? I fortunately got, it was actually right when she started talking about that I really put a giant foot out that door. And I thought about donating, and I did. I thought about helping. And then the more I thought about it, the more I was like, why would I do that when this person treats other people like that? Like, she's not, you know what I mean? Like, I don't see her as a victim of that. Like I said, though, are there people that cross that line with her and are, really awful? Yeah, there are. There's some really unhinged people on the internet. I mean, there really are. But they're not being controlled by just like I don't blame Natasha per se for some of the really awful emails that I've gotten. They weren't from Natasha. I don't know who they were from. I just know that they were from someone on YouTube because it mentions, her fundraiser. So it really can't be from anything else. But I don't blame her. I don't think she told anybody to go email those things. I think it was just somebody who thought that they wanted to they truly believe in what she's doing. And they really felt they internalized, me speaking out about her. And then they reacted. And you know what? I feel sad for them. But it just shows that how ignorant they are. And, I don't know. Yeah, I think I discussed it on my last live. I've received two emails that were really, really awful from people that I don't know why anybody, sat down and took the time to write those things, because it just makes them look really bad. But I have some suspicions on who wrote one of them. I do, but I can't prove it. So I don't recognize the name. I don't recognize any of that, but I'm doing some detective work because there's one of them I would like to find out who it is, because if you want to say that I deserved more abuse at the troubled teen programs I was at when I was a kid, that were horribly abusive and have, scarred me for life. If you want to say that I didn't receive enough abuse there, because if I had, I wouldn't be such a ignorant, I would have more integrity, I think was one of the phrases in there. That's fine. I don't really care about that. That just makes you look like a crappy person. But when you borderline on kind of hate speech, when you kind of toe that line, that's concerning. That was the other thing. I will say, hey Tracy. The other one was I've been open about the fact that I was adopted by a Jewish family, and I really hate even saying this because I don't want. This is the last time I'm going to mention it because I don't even want to give them any attention at all, because it's probably what they want. But I received an email that said, "No wonder you are so concerned with where Natasha's money goes," and mentioning that being Jewish. And I was like, "Are you serious right now?" I was like, unbelievable. And it was in all caps, but I did not recognize the name. So yeah, I'm not even going to mention it again. But yeah, there are, people get some weird emails. I'm sure a lot of creators have gotten them. Yeah, that's what I said. I was like, oh, good Lord. So yeah. And I mean, I was like, I wasn't even going to mention it. I've mentioned the first one, but I wasn't even going to mention that one because the last thing I want to give them is attention. Yeah, WoW is right. That's what I said. I was like, oh boy, well, all right. It never in my, like, I'm not particularly religious myself. I just was adopted into a family that happens to be Jewish, and I have been open about that because why shouldn't I be? You know what, Amanda? That's very interesting that you say that because I think they have me blocked. Actually, I noticed recently, which is fine. But I have been nothing but I have made one video, and I'm not gonna say any of their names, and I don't want them mentioned in the chat because I don't. It's like summoning Beetlejuice. It really is. And that person, has some issues going on, and you know, but yeah, I was wondering that myself because it seems as though that might be something that they would say out of anger or something But yeah, I mean, and if they think it bothers me for the reasons that they want it to bother me, it doesn't. Like, that just it says a lot about them, and nothing about me. Like, whatever. But and I know Natasha didn't send anybody to do that. But I think that those people think that they're helping her by going after people that speak out about her. And I don't just see, I have seen some horrible comments on a lot of other creators channels that speak out about her. Yeah. Some really awful stuff. I've seen some awful stuff written on Granny's Watching's comments in her channel. I have seen awful things written. I mean, I've seen them on Mommy Ramblings, of course. Hey, Melissa. It does seem like anywhere that you go where there are, people that don't, talk about Natasha, there's going to be people from her channel that come over and they're going to write the most horrible things that they could possibly think of. Hey, anxious for peace, to put on there. And, I just shrug it off because, I expected that. I actually expected way worse than what I've gotten so far. And that's not an open invitation for anybody to come at me. But you can if you want to. I'd rather people come at me than come at people that like don't deserve it, for one, and secondly, like maybe can't. I don't want her going after subscribers, like, because there are people that'll go into her chat and try and like call her out, and that never ends well for them. And I think they're brave for doing it. But I'd rather people come at me than others. Not that it doesn't always, but I'm a human. So, I mean, if it hits where it hurts, I mean, it does. If it doesn't, it doesn't. I mean, I don't really, it is what it is. Because once I shut off this YouTube thing, I like the community that I have here, and I really enjoy talking to all of you guys. But like when push comes to shove, I mean, we're like strangers. So yeah, even decorating channels, I have seen that. I have heard the knitting channel is brutal, and I don't know what's up with that. I have heard that from many people. I have never ventured into the knitting realm of YouTube, but right, she'll just call me names and call me all sorts of things, and whatever. If she wants to call me names, I don't really care. There's only a few things that would happen that I would care, and they're things that most people would never ever do here, such as bringing children into things, etc. And I think for the most, really, okay, in the crochet community, yeah, I've heard that I've had a couple people that are like, dude, the knitting community. I'm like, oh, all right. So I guess like that just shows there's drama everywhere that you go. And there's some really crappy people on YouTube, a lot of different places. Yeah, I know I don't deserve it, but neither does anybody that she goes after, really. I mean, sometimes people put themselves out there and kind of like, I know that by talking about her, I'm going to trigger some people. I know that because there are people that genuinely, like I said, she has this way of making subscribers, like not everybody, but some, internalize things. Like they'll, oh really? That reminds me, I was actually one of the thank you, Tracy. I appreciate that. And I don't try to like, be a, holier than thou person on here. I know that she likes to say that, saying that we do no wrong. I mean, I do plenty of wrong, but I'll own it if I do. And I really try to put my best foot out there. Like I said, I've done a lot of work on myself over the past several years. And you know, I've really, really tried to kind of be a better person. So this is like, you know, this is who I am. Do I have a temper? I do. I I I do. I mean, I have things that I do that don't make me look great. And will they happen on YouTube? I hope not. But you know, if they do, I'll own it. But yeah, she has this way of making subs feel like, you know, things that are said about her are being said about them. And that's like not the case. So a lot of times I've seen that people get really hurt about things because she'll make them feel like, you know, people are making fun of them when nobody's making fun of them. Oh, Jax, I hope you feel better. That sucks. Yeah, so many people are sick. I like to, that's what I keep saying. I like to think of the people that come into this chat, you know, as like, you know, subscribers as like a claw machine. And like, I would go for a lot of the names that I see in here, most of the names were people that I would hand pick with like, you know, the claw machine. I use that claw machine analogy for a lot of things. I think I've used it like for 3 different things in this month alone. Yeah, there's so many people getting sick, especially with like COVID and stuff. Um, ugh, I don't know how I've avoided it so far. I really, really don't, because I shouldn't have. Like, I don't know how I haven't gotten it. But I feel bad. It's like everywhere, every chat I go in, it's like so many people are sick and so many people are suffering too. Like I said, like, you know, people come on here because they're looking for connection, and it's not just people that like, you know, don't have a hard time like fitting in, like, you know, have a hard time like socializing normally. Because I have social anxiety, so I totally understand that this isn't a knock at people that, you know, go online to socialize. I totally get it. But then it's like, you know, a lot more people are on here because people can't socialize the way they used to. And there's a lot of lonely people, you know, and they come online, they come into, that's how I ended up in these chats. Was last year, you know, the company I'd worked for went out of business, and I had, you know, some time on my hands to kind of figure out what I wanted to do. And yeah, I'm an introvert too. I'm very, very quiet, or else you know me. And then I don't shut up. Oh yeah, I'm sorry, Liberty. Yeah, a lot of people so many people are getting sick. I do not understand how I haven't gotten it yet, and I pray that I don't. But yeah, if I don't, it'll defy all odds. Not because I put myself at risk, but just because, yeah, you know, I don't know. There's just anywhere you go. I mean, I feel like you don't even have to go anywhere and you can get it. Yeah, that's the thing. I've been exposed to people too, and I haven't gotten it, and it's bizarre how that works. Right. Hold on. Where did I go? Oh yeah, I'm definitely, yeah. I'm very introverted. So for me to come on here and do this, ugh, I have such bad dry mouth right now. I'm so sorry. But yeah, I was really nervous. I wasn't even gonna do lives because of that. Because, you know, I watch other people do lives, and I see them as being like, not everybody. I mean, there's some people that I can listen to, and there's others that I can't. And through no fault of their own. Just I'm really picky about like voices, like, especially with like, you know, there are books that I really like, but the Audible narrator is awful, and it ruins it. Oh, I hope you feel better too, Tracy. Jeez, so many of you guys. But yeah, so I'm just like, you know, I get really nervous. I wasn't even going to do this because I see other people doing it, and I'm like, I could never do that. Like, I'm not that interesting. I can't hold a conversation like that. But then, you know, people kept encouraging me to do it, you know, because I was making short videos. Because, you know, I don't have to, you know, let me tell you though, video making, I have a huge respect for people that make really long videos at this point, because those 3-minute videos that I make take forever sometimes, and it's nuts. But I wasn't even going to do it. Yeah, and I try and be, that's what I said. Like, you know, I know that if I'm not, you know, yelling and screaming, I'm not going to be, you know, particularly popular. But at the same time, I don't really care about that. I like talking to you guys, and I don't mind being like the after show. You know, like if Natasha wants to put on a big production and a big show, like, you know, like after like a popular show, they'll have like an after show and everyone sits around and talks about it. I'm totally cool being that. You know, the ratings are a little lower on that, but, you know, people still enjoy it, so they continue doing it. That, you know, I'm totally okay with being that person. You know, but let's see. Yeah, I see, coughing bothers me. Like, yeah, the coughing is what would drive me nuts, because I deal with a chronic pain issue. Like I have a chronic spine condition that impacts my life very, very much so. Since my accident, but but I'm a big baby when it comes to having a cold. Like I it bothers the crap out of me. I hate having a cold. I'm super like germophobic with colds in particular, because I'm miserable and I hate being miserable. And I appreciate all of you guys. Like I like hanging out with people. I didn't think anybody would want to hang, but then like as soon as my first live, I got such positive feedback from people, and that was just amazing because that just encouraged me to keep doing it. And I feel like I'm getting more and more comfortable. And that's all I care about, really. And there was somebody, and I wish I have really bad short-term memory loss. So if I don't remember somebody's name or something, it doesn't mean it's my brain that doesn't work. It means nothing like against anybody. But there was one person who left me a comment today who, wrote on one of my videos, and I actually took a screenshot of it because it was some of the nicest things I think anybody has ever said to me. And I wanted it to remind me of why I'm doing this. Because I want people to, have a community, and I want people to be able to hang out and not worry about, a chat that's like, ruthless and like going after people. I mean, I haven't had to deal with that much here, and I appreciate that. Really, guys, I appreciate that because I don't have any mods yet. So, and I don't know what I'm doing. So half the time, one of my biggest fears was that people were going to come in here and say stuff and I wouldn't know how to stop them. And then people would be mad at me. But you guys, everyone's been very, very well behaved. I've even had some people from, who are really active on Natasha's channel come in here, and they were actually pretty well behaved as well. They didn't say anything that was inappropriate to say at all. And I appreciated that. They usually just comment on my videos. They don't usually come in here because they'll know that somebody else will say something to them. Hi, Lycan Legion. Let's see. I usually, I had, thank you, Amanda. Never in my life did I ever think anybody would say that, ever. But I really appreciate that. I try. That's what I said, though. I really like this community, and I like all of you very, very much. And that's really all I wanted, was when I left Natasha's, I was like, where are all the people I used to talk to? Like, Liberty, you were always very nice to me. Jax, I didn't interact with you very much, but, you were always, I have nothing bad to say personally. But I know I interacted with Liberty. There's another mod that's still over there that I secretly wish will come over here, and they know who they are. Although I don't see that as happening, unfortunately. But there was a lot of really great people over there, and most of them I've seen over here. Oh, this person can go away too now. Oh, okay. Yes. Yeah, like there's this, there's a lot of people that I really connected with. Yeah. I mean, we interacted a few times, Jax, definitely. But when I was in chat, like I was always like super in my, like, my detective mode for the Petito thing. And I never really participated in any of the dragging of people, with the exception of one person. And two, I guess, but I've apologized to this other person too. And I'm not even going to mention them because they're dealing with some awful stuff right now. And I don't want to open the door for anybody to say anything about that, just because I know what they're dealing with, and that's not fair. I like the smaller chats too. And that's actually one of the things that I dislike about, sometimes when channels get a little bit bigger, because like there's so many people in the chat, it's literally impossible to see. Like I even sometimes have a hard time seeing the chat here, and I have like nobody. Like I have like very few people chatting. So, I can imagine that people that have like hundreds of people in their streams, it's hard to keep up. And the more people you have, the harder it gets. And I don't think it's the creator's fault that happens, but I do know what you're saying. And I feel that. I do feel that. Because your comments get lost sometimes. And then I think that actually adds to the fact that people feel that they need to super chat you to be noticed. And I see that a lot too. Because at some points you kind of, you know, I guess you kind of do, but I don't want anyone to ever feel like that. Yeah, my picture is Chicory. That is Chicory, Chicory Von Fluffy Butt. He is the sweetest cat in the world. He has asthma. So he's had some health issues, but yeah, recently we brought him in and he has several teeth that need to be removed. And he needs some dental work and, you know, some major work done on that. And, yeah, their estimate for it was appalling. And I got a second opinion and nothing, it's no different. So, but you gotta do what you gotta do for your pets. And, I appreciate that, Natasha Victim. Yeah, I have 3 cats. That's why it is hard to leave. I think there's a couple really valid reasons that people don't leave, or if they are, they're kind of doing it behind the scenes, which I don't think is sneaky. I don't, because sometimes that's how you have to. I was under, this is an alt. I never wanted to be B plus. The reason I was B plus is because I was looking at a grade. I mean, I'm a grad student, so I was looking at a grade that I got, and I was like trying to find an alt really quick to go into a different chat. So I was like, all right, B plus. And that's how that kind of ended up. But I'm gonna roll with that. You know, I'm gonna go with the B theme. I can be down with that. Yeah, I think a lot of the times, hey Breezy, people will open their eyes eventually. Because enough is enough. And I mean, especially if you're somebody who's seen the behind the scenes stuff, you know, it gets to a point where it's hard to ignore. And I can imagine it takes its toll on you guys. Oh my god, I'm getting a lot of bots today. I'm very good at this now. I can imagine it's hard for you guys to have to deal with that, especially when she's live like all the time. And like, you know, I just see her as being somebody who's really demanding off the scenes. I could be yeah, then mine, that's true. I could be wrong. I don't know what she's like behind the scenes. I've texted with her a few times about really stupid stuff, but that's about it. Yeah, and you don't want to mess with pets dental stuff, because like that can progress into something awful really, really badly. So yeah, well, apparently, Amanda, for Chicory, it's likely a genetic thing. It's nothing like, you know, he's not even my oldest cat. I actually thought my oldest cat was going to need a tooth cleaning way before he did, because he's only 7. But it's like a genetic thing, and I don't think it was avoidable, because I asked that. I was like, what, did I do something wrong? Like, my cats are my life. My dogs are too, and I do everything for them, and they're spoiled. So, you know, they were like, hey, this just happens sometimes. There are cats that sometimes have no teeth towards the end of you know, when they're older adults. But I have I have 3 cats. I have Chicory, I have Paolo, and then I have a feral cat. He's not feral anymore, but I mean, with anybody but me in the family, he's feral. But his name's Domino, and he basically lives in my ceiling, because no matter what I do, oh yeah, my dogs are really spoiled. I worked for a boutique pet company before it went out of business, up until December 2020, and like it was probably like I was like, you know, I spent my whole paycheck there, because I would like just get all this stuff for my pets. But I mean, I don't have that luxury anymore. But yeah, Domino, he I don't know how he gets into it, because he's indoor outdoor, so he's in my basement, and he somehow got into the insulation up there. And we've tried putting we have tried everything to keep him out, and no matter what happens, he finds a way into the ceiling. So I don't know what we're gonna do about that. But he seems to enjoy it up there. But it's weird, because it's like, you know, there's cats in my wall, and it's really it's strange. And I don't like him being with like insulation like that. That can't be good for him. So still working on how to fix that. Yeah, no, Jax, I know you had a long history with her though. So like, you know, I can see why that would be even harder when somebody is a friend. Because you don't want to give up that friendship, but sometimes it hits you that like, this person isn't going to change, and the person that I, you know, developed that friendship and liked and really grew to care about, they're not that person anymore. And if you sit around, and I think this is like for most of my relationships too, so I should like, you know, I should hear myself here, but you know, that person isn't necessarily going to change. And if you keep sitting there waiting for that person to, you know, be the person that you liked in the first place, you're going to be waiting a long time, if for not forever. But yeah, I agree with that with Siren's message. Yeah, I didn't like that because I felt like that was a huge spectacle. And he has a fan club. Oh my god, does he have like an Instagram now or like an account of his own? But yeah, because my dogs have one of my dogs had a brand deal very briefly until I stopped like managing his Instagram, because like, yeah, it's too much. I just stopped caring. I post my own pictures, but any friend, Almost Famous, or any relationship, like if you're like, well, any friend really, like, or relationship. I mean, that's the thing. Like a lot of the time, we really like an individual, and then over time they become somebody else, because people do. Like, I believe everybody can change for better or worse, and sometimes people become, you grow apart. I had a friend like that where, we've been friends for over 20 years. She was been my best friend forever. I was the, maid of honor at her wedding. And, a lot of stuff, went down, and like, I had to just like let it go, because it's like, she's not the person that, was best friends with me anymore. She's a different person. And, that person isn't somebody that, I have much in common with anymore, or like what they're doing. And you kind of go through a grieving process. At least I did. It was bizarre. I was like, I feel like I just got my heart broken, and this is like a friend. I mean, the human psyche is a strange thing, complicated. Yeah, I feel like, let's see, she wants to believe it. Yeah. I mean, I can imagine that there's a lot of people that have a foot out the door, if not, a foot and a half. And that's what I'm saying. I understand why people leave, but it's kind of behind the scenes. That's what I did. And I'm a nobody, of course. But yeah, I don't like that she shows people's messages. I don't like that she plays people's messages. I don't like that. I don't like that, because nobody's messages should be weaponized. Like, even the emails that I have, like, if I was to share them with you guys, which I've considered doing, I've decided that I might just, show them to people who I know and trust, who might recognize the names that are attached to those emails. But I would never do that, because, I don't want people to, first of all, I don't want people to ever feel uncomfortable talking to me, first of all, because, if you're known to show things to people, it makes people really wary of trusting you, or, wanting to, and I want people to be able to talk to me. I don't want to burn any bridges like that. Plus it's just not appropriate, because, especially voice messages, like, come on. And all Siren wanted was, for her to fix things with his friend, and she made it into this spectacle, and, he didn't handle it the way that she wanted him to. I think she was really expecting him to grovel at her feet, and he did the exact opposite, which I think is great. I'm actually proud of all of, the ones that are close to her that haven't gone back after taking that step out. Like, you guys should be proud of yourselves. Like, I know it's hard. Yeah, that's the thing. She turns people on each other. Like, exactly. Like, at first people, like, they were like, oh, Siren, your makeup is great, and you're singing. And then right. But when people are a little bit unsure, they were still saying that. But the minute she says something bad, they all turn and say that they never liked any of that. Well, that just makes you look like a really ingenuine person. Because I'm not going to tell you I like something that I don't like. I'm just not. I'm sorry if I hurt somebody's feelings like that, but I'm not. I've actually never heard Siren sing, and I think that the makeup he does is pretty cool. It's definitely different, and I think it's neat. It's like almost like special effects stuff. It's definitely like something he's made his own, which I think is super cool. I appreciate people who do things differently, and we can't all be the same. I don't like that. That would be boring. Let's see. Yeah, she does. And that's what I'm saying. That was really, really concerning to me, is the fact that she can get people to be against somebody at the drop of a dime. Yeah. Yeah, and that's like a really personal message. Exactly. Like, really, it's like if somebody comes to you in that vulnerable state, the last thing that they need, I'm sorry, my dog is going to start barking, guys. And she's not going to stop until I might have to take care of that in a second if nobody else does. But yeah, I mean, like, the last thing somebody in a vulnerable state like that, who's apparently, thinking about self-harming, according to her, the last thing that they need is their messages played for an audience. Like, that's not helpful. How is that helpful? How is that something to do for a friend? What you do for a friend who you think truly believe is at risk for self-harming, you find out, if you know where they live, you find out, you get the resources. And I know that people say don't go real life, but there are circumstances in which I'm not going to go real life on it. I mean, if it's a friend of mine that I know well enough to know, like she says, knew well enough to know that it was serious, then I wouldn't be playing it online. I would be finding a way to help him or get help to him, because that is scary. But, I don't know. I don't like that at all. And I also, and Jax, I don't like that she put a lot of this stuff on with you on blast either. I don't like that either. I don't like that at all. Because it's not anyone's business. And she tries to twist things to make you look like, I'm not talking about you directly. I mean, although it did happen to you, she tries to twist things to make people look like they're crazy. It's like gaslighting. Like, she wants people to think that, like, we're the crazy ones and we're the ones that, like, need some professional help. When really, like, that's not how it happened at all. And I don't like people who do that. Right. She'll right. And if she wanted to do good with her platform, she's clearly got something that people like. She's charismatic. She has her channel. Like, people obviously flock to her channel. She's doing something right. I mean, people do like drama. I mean, she gains as many subscribers as I have in an entire month in like 2 days. So, she's clearly has something people enjoy. So, I mean, if she wanted to do good, she could. But she chooses to just continue this nonsense. Yeah, and that's the thing. A lot of people I've seen that have left have had her back and have gone to bat for her, even when, like, I think that they weren't comfortable doing so. And for her to just turn on you like that, it makes you really wonder if she has any friends at all. Like, I'm serious though. Like, anybody, like, if anybody up there thinks that they're actually her friend or thinks that she's their friend, I mean, they're gonna have a really rude awakening coming. Because I think it was you, Jax, that everyone was like, that is one that's always going to be there and that she's never going to turn. And look what happened. So, not that, like, it's fun to play like Survivor, voted off the island with the mods, but I saw some people throwing that around, who's going to leave next. And it was never, the people that have, I'll tell you that. But I don't think that anybody, people do pay her for drama. They do. And I think that, drama sells. That's why we all love, like, well, I don't, but why most people like reality shows and stuff like that. People like to see drama, but the difference between reality shows and what she's doing is that reality shows are scripted. While there might be some real, like, legitimate hurt and stuff, a lot of that is set up. Natasha's genuinely mean and petty, and she's actually, like, hurting people in real life. And I don't like that. And people, it makes me even more uncomfortable that people pay her to do it. It's disturbing. And I don't know if people don't realize they can't differentiate between fact and fiction. I've noticed, I spent some time on Reddit, and there was one thread where people were talking about the fact that if you go, like, there's somebody who plays like a villain on like a TV show or a movie that's popular. If you go to, like, their social media account, there are people, like, giving them hate and criticizing them for actions that their character did in the movie, like it's real life. And I'm like, no, that can't happen. And I went and I looked. It's true. A lot of these people get, like, criticized and bashed for what their character did in a movie. And I'm like, I think people have truly lost it and become delusional at this point, because that makes, I mean, I didn't know people did that. Not to the extent that I've seen it. Right, she does. Yep. She did use that to her advantage, Jax. I saw it. I know a lot of people, but, it sucks. it sucks because I don't like the fact, I don't like how she uses people either. And like, and she turns everything against it. And I don't like it. I don't like what she's done to a lot of people that have kind of come away from there. Because she doesn't take rejection well. And she expects people to come back groveling. And when they don't, it really sets her off. Because, it takes a really, I think, she can be intimidating. I'm not going to lie. Like, she's a force to be reckoned with. And I mean, a lot of people just don't want to, like, it's on the internet. They don't want to deal with that. And but to kind of stand up to it. I mean, I knew she wasn't going to come bother me. Like, I know she misses my super chats. I know that, but other than that, like, we didn't really have a relationship. So, I don't even think I was on her radar until very recently. And that's cool. But, but if she wants to, I mean, I don't really care. I just won't watch it. I don't care what she says about me. I just don't. Why would I want to go watch something that, says things bad about me? The second line, exactly as if she had a choice in it. Exactly, Liberty. That was my thoughts. I was like, oh, okay, well, she wants everyone to think that it was her decision. But I don't, it wasn't her decision. Yeah. That's the thing. And I know a lot of people, and I'm going to say right now, I don't blame people who have an issue with certain people. Like, that's their right. I want to make that clear. And I'm in no way minimizing or, kind of discrediting how they feel about that. But as somebody who was in Natasha's chat and has said some things that I really are not proud of, I see how things happen, and I think that people can make mistakes. And, if they apologize and they continue, and they don't have that behavior anymore, I respect that. But sometimes it takes time to, like, see, because, I mean, especially I think when Siren left, people were like, wait, like, because he jumped right onto, like, participating in the other chats. And I think, like, it was like, people were like, oh, well, how long is this going to last? But he's spent, what has been like a month now, and he's been doing great. He's been a different person. I mean, he hasn't been me. I haven't seen anything negative from him since he's left. But like I said, I can't be everywhere. So if I'm wrong, maybe, but I have not personally seen anything. And he has, like, apologized to people. And I think a lot of people have, like, personally, just because they haven't done it publicly doesn't mean they haven't done it privately. And I don't think that apologies necessarily always need to be public. I do too, though, Liberty. Like, it's actually a problem. Like, guilt and shame kind of dictate my life and have for a very long time. And I've had to work on that because I don't want it to own me. And I'm not talking about, like, YouTube or the internet. I'm just talking about my life in general. But I have a really guilty conscience. Like, I'm the kind of person that would, like sometimes I'll, like, even something that I say here, like, on my live, and it'll sit with me. And I'll be like, did that come out wrong? Like, did I give off the wrong impression? Like, that could have been, taken differently. And I feel like I, was insulting. And usually it's all in my head, like 9.5 times out of 10, it's all in my head. But that's just how I am. Like, I'm a strong person, but, I'm nice. And I always said, like, even before I came on here, I was like, I might be too nice for people. I don't know. But, that's just who I am, and I'm not going to change. I'm not going to, yell and scream and, like, be mean just for clicks and views. Like, I'm just not, I can't. Like, I could do that. I could. I could definitely do it. I could put on a character and I could come in here and yell and scream and be like Natasha, but that's not who I am. Yeah, right. That's the thing. And that's what I'm saying. Like, she just, like, I have, she thinks that everybody values the same things as her. And I also, kind of in my head assume that other people think the way I do, and they don't. And that's okay. That I don't, but I appreciate, like, people, that's the thing. You kind of put your own, just because other people don't think that way. So that's, yeah, if that makes sense. I'm always, like, saying that in my head. Like, I have my own standards and, like, my own, like, code of conduct, But, you know, I can't expect other people to behave like that. And it's not, you know, against anybody if they don't. Like, I'm not better than anybody else. The way somebody might do it differently. And I do make mistakes, and I can be very nasty when I lose my temper. But I don't ever wish to have that on YouTube, because I don't want anybody being able to Google me, because I have family who does. Like, you know, I had a text from somebody in my family a couple weeks ago with who is Natasha Cooper, and we had to have a conversation about that. And they thought I was talking about this true crime writer from the UK. And they were very confused as to why I was making videos about this writer from the UK. And I was like, no. And then they sent me the article about the scamming. And I was like, yep, that's the one. And then they kind of left it alone. But now they're starting. Yeah. So, you know what I mean? Like, I don't want anybody to come on here and like be able to see me behave in a way that I don't. Yeah, I'm not going to. I don't like that. I mean, I'm human, so am I going to make mistakes sometimes? Yeah. Am I going to say things I regret? But I want people to call me out on that. Like, if I say something that offends you, please tell me, because sometimes I don't even realize it. Most of the time I don't realize it. And that's how, you know, you become a better person, is by having people call you out. And Natasha doesn't let anybody call her out. You call her out and she screams at you or mutes you. You know, you can't say anything to her. But so how is she supposed to grow as a human being and get better if nobody can say anything to her? Doesn't make any sense. She says she wants to do better, but that part of doing better is hearing what other people have to say and kind of growing from that. Because, you know, there are a lot of things that that come out wrong. I have a tendency, I can be very socially insensitive sometimes, and it's just, I react weird to certain situations that other people perceive as kind of cold, and that I don't like them or that I don't care. And that's couldn't be further from the truth. It's just sometimes things come out wrong with me. You know, it's just part of what if you ask her religion, there was actually somebody who did ask her religion. It was somebody who supported her recently. And she was like, I'm just curious, what's going on with the legal stuff. You know, I donated, and I just wanted to know, like, where you were at. It wasn't even attacking her. It was like just asking, like, you know, for an update, just like an update on what's going on. And she got eaten alive by the people in the comments, like eaten alive. And I felt so bad, because this is somebody who supports her. This is somebody I've seen in her chat who supports her. And all they wanted to know was, what's the status? Like, what's going on? You know, and everybody just lost their minds. And I have not seen her in that chat since. So I have not seen her elsewhere either, but I have not seen her in Natasha's chat. Yeah, she says that, right. Well, and that's a problem. Yeah. Yeah, Nat, I agree. You know, I'm a very nice person until I feel slighted, but I've worked on that. Yeah, I should take a page out of your book with that, though. Like, I should do that. It's a fine line. Like, I usually take things to extremes sometimes, and I need to be more in the, I'm working on it. But that's the thing. I don't want to be mean, but I will treat people. I don't want to swear, because it's not, you know, quite past people's bedtimes yet. But I don't mess with people that, you know, aren't cool. Like, I try not to anyway. And as soon as I see that, and you got to live your truth. I mean, that's it. That's it. And I don't like being like, if somebody mistreats me, you know, I have a bad tendency of going back to that. And I don't want to do that anymore, because I'm worth more than that. I'm better than that. You know, if somebody can't see my worth, and they can't see, you know, that I'm a good person, like, you know, that at some point, you know, or else, like, I'm in the wrong, and I'll have that discussion. Then, you know what? I don't want to mess with people that bring me down. I don't. And that's what I don't like about a lot of the stuff here, is there's a lot of negativity. And going to her channel, just like, it just brings people down. I've heard it 1,000 times, and I've gone over there because, you know, I don't want to speak on something I don't have facts on. So I will watch her. I've been the first to admit it, because I'm not going to just take my facts from one side and not know the other side. I don't want to do that. So, like, but it's like, you go over there, and it's like this black cloud just, like, you know, goes right over your head. And, like, it just sucks all the joy. Like, I'm a huge Harry Potter fan. So, like, it's like a Dementor comes in and just, like, sucks all of life and happiness and, like, money out of the room. That's just my opinion. There was an example of a dedicated today. Oh, geez. Yeah, I didn't see that today. like I said, I actually recently realized that you can watch the replay on chats. That was new, a discovery for me. So I've been having a little bit of fun with that. Although on some of them, I am a participant in it, and I am disgusted with myself. Um, but yeah, see, I like the Dementor analogy, and I say that to people in my real life too. I'm like, dude, like, you know, you just came home, and it's like a Dementor just came in, and like I have to eat some chocolate now. I mean, I've got my chocolate bars here. They're kind of like special chocolate bars, but they're chocolate bars. Not the kind you want to eat too much of. But yeah, I'm a huge Harry Potter fan. Yeah, I do. That's a childhood favorite of mine. But I did not see somebody getting eaten alive. That's ridiculous. That's what I'm saying though. Like, she will rip you apart. Did she really? Oh, geez. Yeah, you know, and you gotta just let it roll off because, like, you know, if you even ask her something, you know she's gonna call you something nasty. Yeah, I'm waiting for yeah, Nat. um, actually, one of the chuck, it's not too bad. One of them isn't great, but the other one doesn't taste too bad. But yeah, like she's something, and I just don't like the way she treats people that she considers friends, and I don't like the way she doesn't take constructive criticism. Like, if somebody's telling you that what you're saying isn't okay and is hurtful, like, you need to listen to them. Like, you don't discredit them and say, well, you're the problem. Like, that's ridiculous. You know, if somebody came to me and was like, I don't like it when you talk about that, you know, if it's something reasonable and it's something that, like, isn't crazy, I guess, like a normal person. I mean, I know people don't all think like me, but I would be like, okay, like, let's talk about this so, I can communicate in a way that, isn't offensive or like hurtful to you. Like, I don't understand why it's so hard to do that. I just don't. Like, it's like, stop means stop and no means no. And she doesn't hear any of that, but she wants to say that, like, she, I don't know, at some point has stood up for quote unquote victims, I guess. But, it's funny how that switches. She says that she's stands up for the people, and then, but then, the next day you'll see her. It doesn't, it's whatever. Yeah. Chicory is very cute. Nicole, he's actually long haired. So I do trim his floof. So he's a little mid fluff here. But his name is Chicory Von Fluffy Butt. And he is the sweetest cat on the planet. He likes to be held like a baby. He wants to be with you all the time. When I do finally go on camera, you'll probably be seeing him more than me because he will want to be part of it, and he will literally be the one on, like, trying to get on the camera. Because whenever I have to do, like, telehealth appointments, he takes over. Like, there's no, you're basically going to be talking to my cat because he has to be part of it. Yeah, like, and she could make, right. Yeah, no, I agree with you, Liberty, on that. Yep. Like, I'm not even sure if she knows that she affects people the way she does, but the thing is that there have been some super outspoken people who have directly said to her, what you said bothered me, and here's why. And she still doesn't change or even want to have a conversation about it. So, that just tells me that she doesn't care. Because if nobody says anything to her, then she has a point. How is she supposed to know that she's, hurting somebody? I'll give her that, I guess, but if there's multiple people that have said to her, like, very directly, she always says she challenges people to do that. Well, many people have, and she either mutes them or she just, dismisses it completely and says that they're the problem. And I don't like that at all. Hashtag 420. Yeah. But that's what I just don't, I didn't care for it. And I've seen it done to a lot of people that it shouldn't have been done to. And then, like, even if, like, you don't have a huge falling out with her and you've been close with her, she gets so upset if you like, she says she's not bothered, but if people leave, she, like, gets really mad about it. It makes no sense. And I genuinely like a lot of, like, many of the people that are up on her panel, like, I don't have an issue with, I like a lot of them. I do. And a lot of people have been contemplating leaving. I need a tissue, Pixel. I do. I'm not crying about anything. We're just talking. Right. Well, oh, I get what you're saying. Okay. All right. All right. All right. See, that's the other thing though with like online and text and stuff. Like it's so easy to have a miscommunication. And that's the other thing. I see people a lot of the time react to things before they've like processed it and it wasn't meant to be. Maybe it was. I could be wrong. I could be wrong. I mean, there are people who come in here and troll and that's fine. As long as they're respectful. They can say whatever they want. If it's respectful and poignant. But yeah, there's times that people like react to it because they think something was said a certain way. But like if you're reading a text, sometimes it's really hard to gauge like tone of voice and stuff, at least for me. And it becomes this big misunderstanding, and then there's these big fights about something that didn't even need to be a fight because they didn't mean it in that way to begin with. And I see it over and over again. Yeah, you want to disagree with me, Michelle? I'm confused. Oh, okay, I see what you mean. Okay. Well, I like to think that I make sense sometimes. Sometimes not. But like I've been a lurker for a while. Like I see a lot more than I talk about, if that makes sense. Like just because I don't talk about things or like go off on people doesn't mean that people don't come to me and tell me what's going on if it has to do with me. Like because people do. Hey Abby, and I don't necessarily care, but if they feel that it's something I need to know, like people do talk to me. But at the same time, no, I get what you mean. I get what you mean, Michelle. I was like the first part of that I like, but then like I'm like, is your audio messed up? Or I get what you mean though. But yeah, like people do like they're gonna come to you, and if because I'm not everywhere, if they see you being mentioned in another chat and someone says something bad about you, there are people who will come directly to you and tell you that, which I'm not gonna like discourage it either because if that makes them feel like they're helping, then whatever, it's fine. Like because the intent isn't bad, I guess. But like just because I don't talk about it doesn't mean I don't know. And there are a lot of behind the scenes stuff, even directed at somebody as small and insignificant as me. There's always going to be somebody who doesn't like you or doesn't like the fact that you exist or whatever. And I knew that going into it, but it's crazy. Yeah, no, I remember the first time you came in here, Nat, and I was like, okay, all right. The Nat is in my chat. I was very honored, actually. I really was. I'm honored that a lot of you come here. I don't think that I don't know. I don't give myself enough credit a lot of the time, but I'm honored that people that, used to, be prevalent over on NCs come over here. Cause I like to think that I'm more in the middle than others. I don't want to be a hate channel. I don't want to be lumped in like that. I don't want to be a hate channel because I'm not a hater. Like, that's not my nature. And I'll like give credit where credit is due. And I'm not going to go bash people for things that are, not reasonable. I really try not to body shame. Are there times that I have said things or it comes out of my mouth that I mentioned something like that? Yeah, I have, and I do. But I really try not to do it often. Sometimes it kind of just happens. But that's not my intent. And I also don't want to like, bash somebody's just things that, you shouldn't go after, yeah, I like that's what I'm going for because a lot of people like they don't want to be, co-signing. I appreciate that, Nicole. Like they don't want to be co-signing Natasha anymore because that's like too extreme. But at the same time, like they don't really want to be on a channel that's like I don't know, like I don't want to say this the wrong way because it's not meant to come out in a way that I always think of how people could construe it, but they don't want to be at like, something that's just as, or I don't want to say just as negative, but like a different feel to it. You know what I mean? Like, they don't want to be amongst people that like have a genuine hate. I'm not talking about a creator. I'm talking about like chats. Okay. I'm talking about like chats that are over there. They don't want to be they don't want to do that because like, Natasha, maybe was a friend of theirs at one point and they want a community that's not that speaks truth, but isn't going to like, go, yeah, you know what I mean? And I'm not I want to be very clear. Like I am very supportive of everybody. It is a chat, Snat. Exactly. No. Okay. I appreciate that you said it. And a lot of those people do come here too. But for some reason, I mean, my chats don't usually get crazy. But there are a lot of people that aren't coming here that sometimes it's rough, and people don't, a lot of times people don't want to, they don't want to be a part of that, like that, you know, they just don't, and that's okay. Not everybody, that's not going to be everybody's cup of tea. I'm not everybody's cup of tea. I'm too nice for a lot of people. I know this. People have told me that. And that's fine. That's fine. But I think there's got to be something that's kind of in between. And I think there are some channels that are similar, but more leaning towards pro Natasha. I hate that us versus them, and I hate that analogy. But there are some other channels that I've seen respectfully on both sides, where people gather, and it is leaning more one way than another. You like coffee? I'm not really a coffee drinker, and I wish I was, because I probably wouldn't drink as many energy drinks if I did. I do like iced coffee though. It is hard. There's so many things. Right. No. I've said too though, I don't want to like talk about Natasha forever either, but I think a lot of people do need to talk about her right now in a certain way, like not to bash her, but just kind of to work out like what happened, and to know that they're not alone in what they're seeing. If they're listening, like, sometimes in the back of your head you hear like, maybe this isn't right, but like maybe it's me being too sensitive, or like maybe it's me, I don't know, maybe it's my own opinions, you know what I mean? But when you finally see that other people are seeing it too, it kind of validates that you're not crazy, and that you're not wrong for feeling the way you do. Because when a large group is feeling a certain way, and then you're like the one that's like, wait, the disrespect adding ice. I don't really like hot beverages. I mean, I don't, because I'm impatient. I want to drink them right away. So like, I don't like waiting, and then usually I wait too long, and then it's cold, and then I get mad. So I just don't bother. Yeah. Oh, you know what? I actually, with the Xavier, it was a point in time where I was very into rock painting. I painted a rock for him. I sent a picture of it to her. I put it on a really nice walking path. I painted it orange because I know that orange was his favorite color. And I put it on a really pretty walking path. Because I was doing like different cases and different things, and she had mentioned that, so I did that, and she didn't really care very much, and that's okay. That's she doesn't have to care about my rock painting. I'm fine with that. If that doesn't tell her who I am, then I don't know what will. Because she'd have to know that. Like I said, I wasn't really in anybody. I was never up on her panel much. I was just talking about the true crime, if anything. I wasn't, I gave her money and I went on her panel a few times. That's about it. But yeah, like I think a lot of people do need to talk about it. But they don't want to like, go to that other extreme, because I think there's a lot of like-minded people that they don't want to do that. I don't know. That's just and that's why I started this channel, because like people want a landing place, because a lot of the time people are coming to her chat for the chat. Not really even for her, really. I mean, she is funny. She can be very funny. She's made me laugh a lot, multiple times. I'm not gonna lie. So people went for that, but people want, they want somewhere to go. Like, if you're, I know I get really bored if I don't have somewhere to go or something to listen to. I get mad. I'm like, why isn't anybody live? Like, what's going on? Somebody needs to go live so I have something to do when I'm particularly bored. So I appreciate your caring about him too. That case didn't, so many people didn't even know about. I didn't even know about that, and that's a horrible one. And I hope justice is served, because he deserves that. And it's sad. Like there's a lot of cases that really should, I don't want to get into how I feel about that, because I could go on a whole rant about how I feel about the cases that get a lot of attention and the ones that don't. But I'm not going to go there, because that's a topic for another day, because I have very strong feelings about it. And then her saying that she wants, and she kind of starts to cover cases that are different and don't get as much attention, and then she, like, something more lucrative comes along and she goes for that. And it's all about money, and I don't like that. I don't like that. People, and I get supply and demand as somebody who does business. I get it. I get the business model of it, but it doesn't mean I like it. Let's see. Oh, you are? And are you close by to that, Liberty? Oh, okay. I remember her saying one of her mods. So that was you. Okay. I remember her talking about that, and that you were that one of her mods was nearby. I remember her mentioning that. And that is sad. Oh, is it cold over there? I've never been to some of the interstates. Like, I've been to most of the coastal states, but I've really been to very, very few inland states. Very few. I live on the East Coast, so I'm a New Englander. And it is cold here. Although today it was more just wet. It's been very wet. Yeah, it's been very gray and depressing. And I was like, I don't know, this winter's been hitting me particularly hard. I don't even know why. Like, usually, like, you know, I'm just like depressed most of the time, you know, but this winter it's like, I don't know, maybe it's seasonal depression or something, but 29 degrees. What is it here? Let's see. Because I can look at that. All right, well, 26 degrees here too. Okay, it's 26 degrees here, yeah. And tomorrow it's supposed to be 24 degrees. That's great. It just fluctuates. I mean, it's crazy. Cold in Texas. You know, Texas actually isn't a bad climate. I have family near Dallas, and hey, Poison Ivy. And I always, you know, I liked the fact that, like, on Thanksgiving when I was there, like, you know, you had to wear a sweatshirt, but like you didn't have to, like, you know, put on like 8,000 layers. And I appreciated that. Although you guys got more snow than we did like last year. It was crazy. I was like, where's our snow? Now that I work from home, I appreciate snow a little bit more than I did when I was commuting in it. I definitely didn't appreciate it when I had to shovel my car out and drive to work and then back. Definitely didn't appreciate it then, but now I don't mind it because I don't really have to go anywhere anymore. And 32 there. You like heat and humidity? I like dry heat. So when I went to the Grand Canyon or even to Vegas, I didn't, like, everybody else was like suffering. I didn't mind it at all. I don't mind the dry heat. I can take like high temperatures. It's the humidity that kills me. Oh, and this bot can go away too. Hey, bye. Yeah, last year, the weather's just been crazy everywhere lately. Like, let's be honest. It's not like in New England, like, we usually get a lot of snow. We've had it snow once and it barely like, it was there for like a couple days, and it's more just been kind of cold. But nothing that was like crazy. I remember a couple winters ago, there was just sheets of ice everywhere. But it's not too bad here. Oh my God. See, I don't even intend to stay on here. I was going to come on here last night, but I knew that if I started talking, I was going to end up being on here really, really late with you guys. And I was like, I'm not going to do it. I'm just going to resist. I'm going to go and I'm going to watch Netflix and I'm going to go to bed and I'll just do it tomorrow and I'll be fine. Because that's what ends up happening every time. I like talking to you guys so much that I end up like on here forever, which is not a bad thing. I have nothing that I need to do right now. Fortunately, today is not one of those days that I have to do anything really, that's required and not. Your skin likes the humidity. Sweat, yeah. Well, sweating. I mean, I have not so great skin, so I'm like, my skin's like super sensitive to everything, including my own sweat. I know, like, TMI, but it's true. So I don't know. I don't like it anymore. Like, I like my air conditioner very, very much. Yeah, really? I mean, you're in a warmer climate. Yeah. You go do that, Liberty. You gotta make sure those are washed and clean, ready to go. I have a hard time regulating my own body temperature. Apparently it's related to the neurological issues I have from my spine injury, but I don't understand quite how. But that is the explanation I've been given. So I'm either like super lower than your age is called. That's fair. I think I could say that too. But I'll be like the kind of person that's too hot and then too cold and then too hot. And, I don't mind being cold because you could always put more blankets on. But if like it's too hot, like you can't take your skin off, like we don't all have translucent nighties to go put on. I'm kidding. I had to go there though. I had to bring that into the conversation somehow. I don't have any nightgowns. I like Although it's kind of funny because I don't know if Rody Gal's still here, but on Christmas, you know, Natasha shared that picture of her family with their Christmas pajama pants on. I was wearing the same ones when I saw the picture, and then I went to put on the other pair I had gotten, and it was one the guy in the picture was wearing. I'm like, I just have to burn all of it now. I'm kidding. I love jammies. I call it my jammies. I'm 5. I know. Totally not 33. Yeah. See, that's the thing. My mom always called me the polar bear because like I live on the East Coast, and where I live in Rhode Island, and there's something called Block Island, and in the middle of the winter we were there, and I apparently ran right into the ocean, like with all my clothes on though, and like, you know, the dead of winter. And I was like, I used to do the penguin plunge. I went to boarding school up in Burlington, Vermont, and the school was right on Lake Champlain, and I would always do the polar plunge, always, because I can, I guess. But that picture, yeah. So like, I always have the fan on though, always. I think it's for the white noise more than anything though. I usually have an audiobook going. Oh, Rodigal, you are here. Yeah, the penguin plunge. I have my fan going, and I have like an audiobook going because I have to have stuff going on. It's like white noise to me. I'm really weird. I had to see a sleep therapist once because my sleep is just so my entire life my sleep has just been whack. Like really, like he's cold. Yeah. I get that. I do. I totally understand that. I'm weird with the temperature, so like after I got hurt, I had to move back in with my parents, you know, because I couldn't walk or do anything really. It was very humbling. I will tell you that. But I would always have like the room that I was in was the only one that had like an independent thermostat, and I would always have the heat cranked up. It drove my dad crazy. My mom would just be like, just let her do it. Like, you know, it's one of the few things she has in life. But I don't usually even turn the heat up, so I don't know what it was about that like that period of my life where I had to have the heat cranked. Because usually it's the opposite. Usually I'll turn it off completely and then get yelled at for doing it. But yeah, yeah. At the foot of the bed, that's usually that's like the best place to have it. Because I guess if you're like your feet are cool, like it kind of dictates your body, I guess. So I've heard. That's why I always like don't sleep well when I fall asleep with socks on. Maybe it's just in my head, but yeah, I totally feel that. I usually like wake up and it's too hot, and then the fan that I have now, I don't feel like it gets enough air on me, so I'm very frustrated with that. I might try moving it tonight. I have the window open though. It's bizarre. I don't know how to explain. I don't know why I'm weird with temperatures. Yeah. For me though, I feel like it makes me. I don't even know. It depends. It depends on the day. Really. Yeah, I don't actually. I'm trying to think of if there's been an Amber Alert in the Austin area. Oh no. If anybody's in I hope, I'm glad people are getting Amber Alerts because, you know, I'm not gonna lie to you. I've never received one, ever. Your knee hurts you really badly, and like if it's too cold. Because for me, it's weird. Like it's the opposite. And I told my doctor this because I was trying to figure out, like, I was like, what is wrong with me? Because my pain increases in the summertime, especially if it's humid. It's not so much cold, but the humidity kills me. Like I mean, I've been having a really high pain days lately. Like I said, I have a pretty severe spine condition, and it is progressive. So I'm hoping that like it's a slow progression because like I can, you know, as long as I stay active and healthy and I try to do my best that way, I can try and offset it. But, you know, I just don't know. But I don't want it to define me, or I don't even like talking about it. But the inflammation, is that a thing? Because that's what my doctor said. But like, you know, it's less. Yeah, the barometric pressure. I get headaches real bad from that. Really bad. Like, and I didn't even realize so many things could be linked to a spine injury as I have. Like, I have really bad vertigo. I'm dizzy. I get really bad motion sickness. There was a time right after I got injured for the first year, I couldn't even like watch TV. because I had to wear sunglasses in the house like all the time. I don't have to do that anymore, thank God. That and the headaches that I get from it, and there's just some crazy, crazy stuff. Right. Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm actually familiar with that, Amanda. I get that. Yep. That's uncomfortable. I don't like I mean, my foot is numb, but I'm so used to it, like it doesn't even like I don't even notice anymore. But if any, like I hate the pins and needles, like the when your foot's asleep. Oof. Yeah. When my spine is jacked up, guys. Like, I mean, I know I mentioned a bunch of spine stuff, but like, if you saw my spine, you would understand that my spine is jacked up. So it's from my neck down to everywhere. But I'm just thankful that I am able to be mobile, and that it's not as bad as it could be. And it definitely looked like it was going to be a lot worse than it is, and I can walk, and that alone is a miracle for me. So that's all that matters. But yeah, you never know when something's bad's gonna happen. So like that's the thing that it completely changed my view on life and everything in general. It totally like rewrote how I saw the world. Because you don't know until it happens to you or somebody that you love, and I don't know. That's all I'm gonna say. But I have a lot more sympathy for people. Well, Amanda, you have a lot of issues of your own. So I mean, that's the thing. Like, there's a lot of different kinds of suffering, and I feel bad for it. I used to be. I don't know. I have a much more empathy than I used to, because I used to not. I used to just think that people were making things up, and you know what I mean? Like, that whole rhetoric. And I will never, ever say that about anything ever, ever, ever again. Ever. Because you can't always see a disability. And you can't always know what's going on inside somebody's body. So who am I to ever say anything? Your house has heated floors. Oh my God, that sounds really creepy. My old apartment, I think, had heated stuff in the bathroom. My parents' cars have heated seats, and I'm very jealous of that because my car does not have heated seats. It's always nice though, especially on my lower back, because driving and sitting like that is like a huge pain trigger. So that'd be really nice. I'm sure they have like, heating pads you can put in the car and stuff. I'm sure that's a thing. That's awesome. Heated floors. I can imagine, is that like energy efficient, or like, does that like, jack up your heating bill? But that sounds awesome though. I mean, I would totally go for that. That sounds awesome, especially in the bathroom. So it's freezing in the bath. Oh, well, the bathroom is where it needs to be nice and warm. At least that would be where I would want it to be, nice and warm. And maybe in the kitchen, I don't know, so you don't have to have bare feet. I have mostly carpet in my house, so I have like this room is hardwood floor, but this is like the hottest room in the house. It's the only room that gets like so hot that I actually had to have an air conditioner in here last year during the winter because it got so hot when you had the door closed, and I have to have the door closed to keep animals out. Because I don't always want my cats in here. One of my Chicory here likes to pee on things. There's no rhyme or reason as to why he does it. He just does. And I oftentimes don't, if I have like laundry I haven't put away yet, I don't want him in my room because he will pee on it. Like without fail. Yeah, that's the thing. Like I've like thought about the different things I want to do with, it goes from cold to hell. Yeah, I can imagine that does. Yeah, I think ours is electric, but I can see how gassy. And the other one, one of my apartments I lived in had we actually had to put wood into like the landlord used to do it, but I was like, that's it didn't work very well. I'll say that. I remember being very upset by how cold that apartment was. Yeah, that's the thing. I've tried to like think of different things I could do with like my platform and stuff, and I have a couple things that I want to do, but I especially like, I also like want letting people know that people aren't alone with like their health issues and stuff like that. Like, I know that there's a lot of stigma on stuff, but yeah, that's probably what he's doing, anxious for peace. Yeah, a lot of stuff. A lot of stuff has been expensive lately. Good Lord. I mean, that's the other thing though. Like everybody's having a hard time. A lot of people are having a hard time. And for Natasha to continuously put up these PayPals, it's just I feel like it's almost insulting because even people who like make decent money or, are financially secure, prices of things are going up and, the pandemic has really impacted a lot of stuff. And, a lot of people are really anxious about the future and maybe don't want to part with like a whole bunch of, you know what I mean? And I feel like she puts a lot of pressure on, even if people have the money. I don't know. That's just my 2 cents on it. I'm not comfortable with it. Um, yeah, okay. Yeah, see, my bills in the summer are just as bad because the air conditioners are always on. Fortunately, like my house isn't huge at all, and it's pretty open floor plan. So, like, if I have the air conditioner on in the back bedroom and leave the doors open, and then maybe one in one of the front bedrooms, it can usually cool down the whole house. Why is there someone outside my window? Oh no, we're not doing a fire tonight, are we? No. Okay. But yeah, I just, and if people have like, disposable income and actually like, there's no shame. I'm not criticizing people who do. I just don't like how she handles it. That's all. I don't like how a lot of the times people feel like they have to super chat to be noticed. And I totally get that feeling. And sometimes part of that isn't even her fault necessarily. It's just because her chats get so huge, but she plays into it very well. My opinion. It did take a lot to come to the mindset I'm in now too, Amanda. Absolutely. And all I want is like, it's made me really want to like help other people because people will see me and they have no idea like what I suffer from at all, ever. Because I think a lot of people when they're in chronic pain like that, they give up. And it doesn't make me a stronger person than anybody else. It just, I've had more of a support system than I think a lot of other people have. I'm very blessed by that. And I don't know if I, would have been in the same place had I not had that, but a lot of people like they don't have that. And I just want people to know they're not alone, like in anything, nobody's alone. I don't want anybody to feel alone. It makes me crazy. Cause there's so many, times are crazy. Even the most introverted of us, including myself, who are totally comfortable being alone for, long periods of time, we all need connection. That's part of being human. And that's what I was saying, like why I was only going to make that one video about the situation with the person I don't like to mention because they usually make tons of videos about people, and I know I'm opening myself up to that, but that's why I was only going to make one video about that because as vile as somebody's behavior might be, there's social services like are overworked to begin with, but with the pandemic, like people can't go to people's houses and I used to be a case manager. Like when I first graduated college, I did it for 4 years, and it makes it even harder to kind of reach out and oh my God, what's the word I want to do? To help people, and a lot of people who have some serious issues are left without the care that they need. And I think a lot of them come on to YouTube and maybe behave in ways that are very inappropriate. I'm not saying that it makes it okay. I'm 100% not saying that, but I can see how it happens and I don't want to bash those people because it's not their fault. For the most part, I don't agree with that on all fronts, but I think you guys know what I mean. I think I'm amongst like-minded people for the most part, and if you don't agree with me, that's totally fine too. But let's see. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Hashtag, and I think that's what she gets confused. That's what I think she gets gets confused. It's not that people are jealous of her money. It's that people who work very hard for more hours than they should for less money than they deserve to be paid. They come home from work to kind of wind down and, kind of mellow out, and they go on to YouTube, and Natasha Cooper is having more money than they make in a month being thrown at her for yelling and abusing people. And I can understand that must be very frustrating. I get that. And I think that's very valid. That's very valid. And I don't think that means that they're jealous of, the money. I think it's a frustrating situation. I understand that completely. I've felt that way myself. People, when you're working like 60 hours a week for, just above minimum wage, you know, with a college education or not, but I'm speaking for myself. And, you know, I'm talking about like before I got hurt. And, you know, if I was to see that, I think I'd be a little upset. I think I would. I totally get that hashtag. I agree. I mean, if you're a creator and you're actually creating things, like there are some creators who do very like they do things for the community. Like they make videos that people really enjoy, or they make like tutorials or like, you know, how-to videos. And I think those people deserve to be compensated. Absolutely. Even some of these true crime channels, because there are good true crime channels out there, guys. Don't let her spoil it for you. There are some very professional ones that do a great job, and I believe that they deserve to be compensated for what they do. But right, exactly, and not to feed into her her behaviors. That's not. I mean, I don't want to pay somebody to abuse people and make people feel bad and just be like a really not so upstanding person. I don't feel comfortable paying somebody to do that. I feel like I just don't like it. But if you contribute something, then, you know, why not? I think that people deserve to be compensated for giving people, like, it's a business. Like, you're giving somebody goods that they consume. So, you know, whatever. And, you know, YouTube makes it, I mean, monetization, it's no joke. They, I think it's 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 hours of watch time. I believe I have close to 700 hours of watch time currently, which is mind blowing. I'm not going to lie to you guys. Like, the fact that people have watched anything that I've posted for 700 hours is just insane. Oh my God, why is my cat screeching? Which cat is that? I think that's Domino. He might want to come inside. But yeah, and right, and she's at this point she could say I think people would just give her money regardless. I don't get it either, Natasha Victim. I really don't. I really don't. But you know, I don't know. I mean, of course, like it's just I'm just blown away. I'm sorry. I still can't get over the fact that people watch my stuff for that long, and I'm so grateful and appreciative because, like, I mean, I don't know. I probably would still do it if I was talking to myself. I don't give myself enough credit. You're absolutely right. And I'm working on that. I am, but it's gonna take some time. It's gonna take some time. But like the positive feedback that I get from you guys, like it builds me up, and I really appreciate it. It makes me smile. That it makes me want to continue doing this. And then, you know, even after tonight, I'm still going to think in my head if I said something that was offensive, because there's already a few things in my head that I think I might have said that might have been construed as offensive to somebody. And I shouldn't feel like that, but it's part of who I am. I've always been like that. I'm usually very sensitive and considerate of other people's feelings with people who would not do the same for me. So, yeah. And I know that. But yeah, she's just, you know, and everyone's like, why do you do this? And it's like, well, I do this because, you know, I want people to know that that's exactly what it is. I want people to have somewhere to go when they realize that what she's doing is kind of shitty. And, you know, they want to come hang out because that's why people are on YouTube in the first place. But they don't really want to go to the complete other extreme at some, you know, some people want to go there and some people don't. Some people kind of want something in between, and there really wasn't anything in between in this particular community. There are other channels that are, you know, but they're not channels that stem from Natasha, if that makes sense. Because there's a couple I'm thinking of, but they weren't. They have a large like sharing of subscribers, and with the same community. However, they don't. They weren't from Natasha, and they've done their own thing. And that's the thing, yeah. You know, I don't like the fact that people have to be secretive or, you know, at all ashamed of who they support. Just because somebody is in somebody's chat does not mean that, you know, as long as they're being respectful, I don't have any, like, doesn't mean that anybody else in that chat supports them or even the creator 100%. But if somebody's being respectful, I'm not going to boot them. You know, I'm just not. And I'm open to having conversations with just about anybody, really. Honestly, that's just who I am. But I understand and respect that other people don't feel the same way. And if you're not comfortable with somebody on your channel, then I respect that, and I'm not going to criticize it. You know what I mean? And I would hope people would do the same for me. Just because to each their own. And I totally understand how other people might feel differently and do things differently. That's cool. Right. Yeah. I'm glad people are coming in, and there are certain people, especially, that I know that, some people feel very strongly one way or another about. And it's not that I don't care about what people have done. It's not that. I do care. But I also think that people can change. And I do think that as long as somebody is respectful, I'm not going to gatekeep who can be here and who can't. And I'm not going to treat people differently because of that either. If they do something and I see it, then fine. That changes everything, I guess. But, I like giving people a chance, because people gave me a chance. I did create an alt to go elsewhere because I was afraid. And, I have to give credit where credit is due. Like, with Granny's Watching, like, that community accepted me almost instantly. And I apologized for what I did. And I was glad that, I could go there, and it was kind of like a landing spot, at that point in time. It was like the only community that, was there and that was active and had a lot of people chatting, and I enjoyed. And that, it was really helpful for me to get, away from where I was. I'm not sure if I would have necessarily, I don't know if that makes sense. You know what I mean? And I don't dislike anybody. It's just who I am. And I think my biggest fear is that people will judge me for how I run my channel and my chat, or take it personally. And it's not like that. I don't know. For as long as people are respectful, I wouldn't care if Natasha Cooper was in this chat and, was being respectful. Like, and I'm not going to treat her any differently in this chat than I would anybody else. Doesn't mean that I like her. No. Does it mean that, you know what I mean? That's just who I am. And I don't actually really dislike anybody but Natasha Cooper and like a very select few other people that I have not actually encountered in here. So it really takes a lot to like, sorry, I have my gummy bears here. It takes a lot for me to kind of disown somebody permanently or long term. But I understand why other people do. I just don't like it's not a one size fits all in like your channel. Everybody's gonna do stuff differently. And I like a lot of creators very much. There are a lot of creators that I like very much. Hold on, I'm chewing a gummy bear. Okay. Right. Yeah. A lot of us come on here and we like own up to what we've done. And I don't even want to like take into consideration what people have said, people have done outside of here. You know what I mean? Especially with subscribers, like with Natasha Cooper, like, you're on a public platform. That's different. But if you're a subscriber or a next mod, I'm not going to dig into your personal life. I'm just not. Because I don't know you there. I know you on here. And that's what matters to me. The reason Natasha, that's different, like with what she does, is because like it's a pattern and she's bringing it onto YouTube. If I'm not seeing, you know what I mean? Like if somebody has like a criminal record, but like they're not behaving in a really awful way here, like why does it matter? It doesn't matter to me. And I really could care less if somebody has a criminal record, as long as they treat others with respect and, try and be a better person every day. I really don't care. Everybody makes mistakes. And that's kind of how I was raised. I mean, my dad was on the parole board in our state for almost 30 years. So yeah, as like the psychologist, criminologist on the team. And, he's had a lot of great insight into people that, that change, that have done some really awful things in their life. And, the last thing that people like that need is to be judged forever for that, even Natasha Cooper, if she wants to change her behavior, you know what I mean? Like past behavior does predict future behavior. Yes. But people can change. I mean, like my dad has, there are people that have, had a criminal record and like, you know what I mean? Like a lot of stuff is circumstantial. But I do agree with you. Past behavior definitely indicates future behavior. It definitely tilts the statistics that way anyway. And, I'm wary of that. Yes, my dad did deal with Craig Price. Yep. My dad also was part of the parole board hearings for the owners of the Station nightclub after the fire, which is a case that I actually am interested in covering here because I have deep dived into it recently. I actually went to those, the victim impact statements. I actually went to those because I would job shadow with him occasionally because I was a criminal justice major. And I did go to where the victims of the fire were speaking out against. I'm not sure if it was the band's manager or if it was the brothers who owned it. I can't remember which, but yeah. And T-Scale, she probably isn't. And if she doesn't want to change, then I have no reason to change how I treat her and what I think about her. If she's happy with who she is, then that's her decision. Were you really, Rhody Gal? That whole story, it gives me chills. Like it honest to God gives me chills. That case, so many people don't know about it. There's a book that was written. I just got it. And I listened to the audiobook. It's quite good. I had never been there. I'm a little bit younger than you. So I think I was a freshman in high school when that happened. So no, I was not there, but it's an interesting case. And I actually would be really interested to know people's thoughts on it because it is controversial. A lot of people feel very strongly one way or another on who's culpable in that case. And I don't see anybody really talking about it, although you can watch the entire thing from start to finish on YouTube, and it's very disturbing. So trigger warning. You can watch from when that fire starts to when you hear silence because everybody is no longer, 100 people died. So it's crazy. I don't know how it's still on YouTube, but it is. Because it was being filmed for a news segment, which is, it just so happened to about nightclub safety, which is even crazier that would happen when they were filming on a segment on nightclub safety. But yeah, it's crazy. Actually, that video haunts me, and I really wish I had not seen it. But I'm very morbid and I have a morbid curiosity, and I will usually go down those rabbit holes, like with the Luca Magnotta with the don't fuck with cats. I did click on a link that ended up having that video of the snuff film, and I also really, really wish I hadn't seen that too. But it's like a train wreck. You can't turn it. There's a lot of crazy stuff that goes on in this world, and I don't know. I promise you, I'm not a weirdo. I'm not a weirdo. We're all true crime. A lot of us are true crime buffs here. So there, well, Rhody, is it okay if I mention that considering your name is Rhody? Well, locally to us, there was a fire at something called the Station nightclub, and a band called Great White was playing there. And they did unauthorized pyrotechnics, and it set off this foam that was on the walls that some will say the owners were kind of tricked into buying. Others will say that they bought it to cut corners, but it was highly flammable. And it killed 100 people and injured many, many, many more, very badly. It was the worst nightclub fire, thus at a rock concert. There's some very disturbing pictures of it because it got bottlenecked and people couldn't get out. It was a disaster. It was really, really bad. And the entire thing from when the fire started, because it was being filmed for the local news to do a segment on nightclub safety, which is the most ironic part. Why is if I just blocked somebody I shouldn't have, I'm so sorry. Oh my God, what am I doing? I'm gonna have to look. No, I want. Oh, I can't read. I need glasses. But yeah, it was it was all over the news. It was national news. And then there was a whole argument on who was culpable because the owner said that, they were misinformed as to what they were purchasing because the foam the soundproofing foam they put on the walls is insanely flammable and poisonous when burning. And the fire spread in record speed. A lot of people just didn't stand a chance of getting out of there alive. And it was really, really awful. So there are people who will side with them and say that, they didn't know because there were some paperwork discrepancies. And there are others that'll say that they bought that foam because it was cheaper and they were trying to cut corners. There's a whole conspiracy. It's actually a really interesting case. It's really sad. And because we are the smallest state, everybody knows somebody who knows somebody. So pretty much the whole state was impacted by it in some way, shape, or form. But 100 people died, and countless others were injured really severely. And it's crazy. I mean, if you have a morbid curiosity, I mean, it's crazy. It was all documented, all of it, for this news segment. Right. Yep. A lot of trampling. Exactly, Renee. Yep. See, I mean, it was national news. But it was like kind of one of the bigger things that kind of happened here. And I remember when it happened. Yeah, it's an interesting case. I mean, there's much more to it than scratches the surface. But my dad was on the parole board when the band's manager, who was the one who lit the pyrotechnics, my dad actually said he was very remorseful. My dad had a really good conversation with him because he was the one who lit the pyrotechnics. So he went to prison. He pled guilty. One of the brothers pled guilty in order to get the other one off the hook, kind of. And I believe he was also paroled. But it's like a he said, she said. Everybody wants to point the finger at somebody else to be responsible for how that fire started. And there's a lot of different bits and pieces. So it's actually a really, really interesting true crime rabbit hole to go down. Even though, and a lot of people don't feel like justice was served. A lot of families who lost a loved one or exactly. And ever since then, Renee, because I go to a lot of concerts, or used to before the pandemic anyway. And I always locate the exits, always. Because you always need to know where the exits are. And they locked the fire exit too. And the bouncer was turning people away, saying it was only for the band. And it's like, people could have gotten out that way. And then one of the band members died. One of the I think it was the guitarist for Great White died because he went back in, supposedly. I mean, there's conflicting accounts, but he went back in to grab his guitar and died in the process. He had a small child. It's horrible. It was a really horrible event, and it's messed up. But yeah, I haven't seen a whole lot of coverage. I mean, you can look at the court hearings. I think they have the court hearings on YouTube. I think I did watch them on YouTube. And some of them are, I mean, if you're into that kind of stuff, it's interesting, but if not, I mean, it might not be for you. It's like the local court channel. Thank you. Sorry. But yeah, that's one of the cases and there's a book that, so my dad was involved in that. So I do believe in change, and I do believe that there's a lot of contributing factors as to why people behave that way. But Natasha, people are right. Natasha has absolutely said she has no intention of change. She doesn't think anything that she has done is wrong. And that tells me everything that I need to know about that going forward, and that's why I speak about it. Yeah, I actually was supposed to, it was actually when I went back at work because I couldn't go back. It was a rumor that I had hurt my back crowd surfing, which, I was like, that sounds a lot more badass than what actually happened. Sounds a lot more badass than falling off a ladder. I'll tell you that. But and lifting heavy stuff forever. But yeah, I was supposed to do a whole lot of music stuff because I still go to concerts when I can, but I haven't. Everything that I've had tickets to has just been postponed and postponed and postponed. So at this point, they just announced a festival in Vegas. It's like the When We Were Young tour. It's a bunch of pop punk, and it's like your dream lineup for those of us who are my age, maybe younger or older, I don't know, and who liked the pop punk. It has every band you could possibly think of, and everyone's hinting that it's going to be like the Fyre Fest of the pop punk genre. But that's another good documentary, guys. But I don't know. I'm looking at it. I'm like, I'm not even going to bother because, first of all, I mean, there's no way I'm going to travel out. Yeah, it's a great lineup. There was no way I was going to try. It has a lot of the new bands that I like too. Because I like a lot of the new pop punk as well. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna be like a gatekeeping elder emo. I'm not like that. I give credit where credit is due. But yeah, there's I'm not gonna. I just feel like it's gonna get canceled. I mean, I know a lot of the other festivals weren't, but I don't know. Something feels weird about it. It's expensive too. It's really expensive. So for me to travel. I mean, traveling to Vegas isn't the bad part, or getting hotels, because Vegas is cheap to get to. They count on that. That's how they make their money. They make it as cheap as possible for you to get to, and then they know you're going to spend all your money. At least the Natasha Coopers of the world will. It's how casinos work. I don't care like what she has to say or what her explanation of it is. Like, it is what it is, and everybody sees it but her. Anybody who's familiar with how casinos work sees it, and she just keeps trying to justify it. I forget who was talking about it yesterday. But the person, somebody called the casino, I think. And the lady, she called the casino. I'm sorry. And the woman did sound very, very confused. You started Archive 81? Yes. I was hoping you did. Isn't it good? Like, I'm already can't wait for the next season. Like, I'm telling you, it ends on such a cliffhanger. It's insane. And just when you think you know what's going on, it's not that at all. I'm still rewatching it, and like I can't it's not one of those shows that I can get up and like go to the kitchen and get a snack, or go wash my face and brush my teeth and then come back or put my pajamas on. Like, I have to actually pause it, and I never do that because like I don't want to miss any details. It's crazy, guys. If you guys have Netflix, check out Archive 81. It's number 1 in the US on the Netflix, like when it says the top and trending or whatever. It's a series. It's really good. It's like, Stranger Things, but for adults with like demonic cults and like found footage, like horror type stuff. It's based on a podcast that I've started listening to. It's really good. The Clues thing is real. Right. Yeah. But the thing about that though is that there's always going to be those hidden fees though, Rodigal. You know what I mean? Like, and they also have casinos on cruises. So I'm wondering, I don't know. I have thoughts about it. I mean, maybe, I don't know. I just don't really see her going on a cruise. But maybe she will. If she got a free cruise, why does she have a fund for people to pay for her vacation? Can someone explain that to me, please? I just thought of that. If she has a free cruise and she's doing that, why does she have a PayPal fund for people to pay for her to go on vacation? Why? That doesn't make any sense. That just irritated me. There we go, Natasha. I got you. I got you on that one. So, yeah. Yeah, they do have a casino on the cruise. I've been on a couple cruises. I used to go on one every single year, actually around right now. Yeah, she does need a passport. Because my grandfather, we used to go on one. My grandfather actually turns 102 either today or yesterday. But we used to, before she, oh my God, before she, what am I even talking about? Before he, was unable to travel, we used to go on a cruise for his birthday every year. And I used to enjoy them until the last one I was at, and I never get seasick almost ever. And there was one night where it was really rough, and it was one of the worst nights of my life. I'm telling you, it was bad. Everybody woke up the next morning and there was like puke in the elevators, on the stairs, everywhere, because like everybody just got so sick. Yeah. The Paranormal Activity episodes. Yeah. Yeah. I get that, T-Scale. I felt the same way. I like that kind of stuff. I really like found footage stuff. There's a lot of, I'm a horror buff, but I'm not talking about like mainstream, like horror that most people have heard of. Like, I dated a guy, for like 3-4 years who was like super into horror. Like I can't even describe to you how into it he was. And he used to introduce me to all these these movies that, were really lesser known, but like really good. So, I have a wide range of movies that like I really enjoy on my list of the favorites. Most of them, a lot of people haven't heard of. A lot of them have subtitles. I'm not the biggest fan of subtitles, but in some cases I'll tolerate it. It's weird though. Some people that have ADHD say that they really like subtitles, and others say that they don't. I'm on the camp that I can't deal with subtitles very easily because she has chronic illnesses, cannot get COVID. Yeah, well, she said that she's afraid of getting COVID again. So I don't know. She did mention that. Yeah, I love horror. I like some of the not like, yeah, indie films, I guess is the right word for it. Kind of like B-list stuff. There's a lot of stuff that, just because it doesn't have a high production value doesn't mean it's not like the best thing ever. And there's some dark stuff out there. But some really good stuff. I do like the found footage. I like anything about like cryptids and stuff like that. or like, you know, weird creatures and like hauntings. I'm not a fan of like the torture stuff like Saw or anything. I can't do that. The Conjuring. Yes. Oh my God, Nat. So the Conjuring house is actually in the state that I'm in. It is a real house. The it is in I believe Harrisville. Correct me if I'm wrong, Vertigo. I believe it's Harrisville. Somebody bought it recently for several million, and it's not a big house because Halloween is also my OG favorite though. I love Halloween. That's probably my favorite franchise. Sinister. I haven't seen that one. Actually, you know what? No, I have seen the first one. I liked it. I should watch the second one. But yeah, The Conjuring, that's a real place that is not far from me. I always meant to go there too. They're also filming Hocus Pocus 2, or were filming Hocus Pocus 2, not far from me either. They were actually filming a scene where I go grocery shopping, which was kind of interesting. I think it's going to be streaming, but you know, that's kind of like a guilty play. Not a guilty play. Most people like Hocus Pocus. I'm not gonna justify that. But yeah, The Conjuring. I like Halloween. I think I've seen the first Sinister. Yeah, I like those kind of movies too, though. So those are definitely my jam. I've never, like, I know a lot of people here have been talking about like Scream and stuff. I've never been into the Scream franchise. I never cared for it. That's just my personal opinion. If I had to pick another one after Halloween, I'd probably pick Nightmare on Elm Street. Yeah, let me tell you, I know people who have gone there, and I do a lot of like, I like spooky things. I go to Salem a lot. I've explored Salem. I just recently found out that there's actually a Sleepy Hollow, and I've made it my mission to go there too. It's in upstate New York. And I've made it my mission to go there as well. But yeah, it is creepy because that is based on like, you know, somebody's true account of a story, you know, like, and I do believe, I don't know. I do believe in like there's weird stuff going like that goes on. I do. So I've had some experiences of my own that have kind of reinforced that in my head. But yeah, I would be creeped out too, especially because that movie is horrifying. Like that movie scared me, especially in the basement. Like some of the basement scenes were like haunt me forever. I saw that in theaters. I have not seen the latest one. I don't think I have. No. Is Annabelle part of that series, or is that considered something different? Because the first Conjuring though, I actually, you know what, you just reminded me. I want to rewatch that now. It's that good. It is okay. I've seen that one as well. Is there a third one? I believe there's a third one. See, a T scale. I'm getting off of here soon. There's a third one. I need to watch that then. I do need to watch that. Yeah, I like that. I like a lot of the found footage. There's a Grave Encounters 1 and 2 is quite good. That's also one that I like. I like Freddy versus Jason very, very much. Yeah, she is part of it because that was part of the Warrens Museum. Yep. I remember seeing that. Like she was when they went to go visit it. You know what I'm talking about. Yeah, there's a lot of. I'm trying to think. Why can't I think? Why is my brain not here? But yeah, I like horror movies. I like a lot of the big franchises. I do. I just not all of them. Not to the degree other people. I can get I can get behind it though. I mean, I like more of like the spooky stuff. And that kind of stuff. And I don't do Saw. I actually haven't sat through an entire Saw movie. Not really a fan of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. That's not really my jam either. I mean, I've seen it. But I definitely even Friday the 13th isn't like my favorite either. But because I definitely would, if I was to pick franchises, I like Halloween, I like Nightmare on Elm Street. Those are my two favorites. But I do kind of want to watch Conjuring now. That's a really good one. I hadn't even thought about that movie in a while. Thank you, Nat. That's definitely what I probably shouldn't watch like before I go to bed because I have like really vivid dreams, and that one's definitely gonna show its face. But I am gonna get off of here soon because I'm gonna go eat. Yeah, I got heading to bed, Michelle. I'm glad you stopped by. Thank you for stopping by. Thank you, all of you. I love chatting with all of you. I know that there are people that listen that like don't always chat, but I always like saying hi to you guys. So never, if anyone's listening, don't be afraid to chat. If anybody jumps on you, I'll yell at them. In the best way that B Plus yells at people, which is not really, but I'll try. Good night, Audrey. But yeah, you saw the Saw. Yeah, no, that's fair, Nat. I mean, I don't know how deep down the horror horror like rabbit hole you go. I don't know. I don't like it. There's a couple movies that I've enjoyed that I don't think I would mention publicly, because to say that you enjoyed a movie like that gets really weird looks. There's one in particular I'm thinking of, and it's like a meme at this point. It's not in English. It's I believe I don't know. I don't. I feel like it's not Russian. Maybe I have to look it up. But it is probably the most messed up thing I've ever seen. But it's like it's actually a very well done movie. Yeah, no, I don't blame you. I'm a very twisted person too. Good night, Renee. But yeah, I mean, I know other people are having like a horror panel. I mean, I would love to do something similar too. I mean, there's room for everybody to do fun horror things. I mean, a lot of people like horror. It's not everyone's cup of tea, but I do. Yeah, but I'm gonna get off of here because I need to go eat something and I need to go watch Archive 81, or I think it's really good, guys. Definitely go check it out. If you do check it out, let me know tomorrow when I go on live so we can talk about it, because I want to know what people think. All right, guys, thank you for joining, and I hope to see you guys tomorrow. All right, bye.